Hello, everybody. Let me make sure audio is good. Yeah, I'm seeing the mic doing its thing. All right. Um, so real quick, I'm gonna do a little intro and a little bit of backstory, so that way anybody new joining can kind of understand my perspective on things. So number one, most of you guys here know I've had a lot of real life and personal issues going on, and that's why I haven't streamed as much. So that's why. I would love to stream more. I would love to play video games more. I would love to do a lot of things more, but that's just not a possibility right now. So be patient. I will start doing that stuff more. So yeah. Now into I guess we'll call it my personal history of Star Citizen. I started playing back at the very end of 316. A friend of mine got me into it, and all he had to say was Wing Commander guy was making it, and that was enough for me to jump in. Fast forward very close to 3 years later, and I'm out. I have not played Star Citizen in approximately 6 months. I have not covered Star Citizen outside of a react or two here and there in 4 months, 5 months. I think it's been 5 months. Um, I just don't have. How do I want to put it? How do I want to put it? I just don't have the patience and I'm really not finding the word I want to use here. I just honestly, it's not worth my time anymore. It just is not worth my time anymore. So I over the last 6 months ish, give or take, I really don't get any Star Citizen information outside of an occasional Salty Mike video will pop up on my feed, an occasional Commerl video will pop up on my feed, and then a lot of what I hear comes from members in my Discord community like Jim and Cosmic and Pagan and a few others, and I like it that way. Life is much simpler without me thinking about or covering Star Citizen. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Also, for those that are like, well, why'd you quit Star Citizen? I'll make this as quick as I can. I started off as a complete Bob. I didn't want to be touched. I didn't want to be looked at. I didn't want to be shot at other than by NPCs. And it wasn't until that friend that introduced me to the game and I realized in a weird bunker situation that you could go after players and take their ships. And at the time, cargo wasn't physicalized, but stuff that they left in their ship was ripe for the taking. And that's when I realized, holy crap, we can do this. We can take ships, we can pirate people, we can extort them, we can do all this crazy stuff. What's up, Blaze and Brian and Jim? I'm sorry, and Diz. I'm sorry, I didn't get to you guys. And that's kind of where it turned into me going from complete leave me alone to now I'm gonna pirate people. And today's current Star Citizen, pirating for the most part is dead. Can you do it? Yes, you can. It's way more convoluted than it ever has been before and is not really worth your time, seeing as that most people run cargo missions. Cargo cannot be sold. It's dead. So you can rip it off, but you can't sell it anywhere. You can store it, but you can't sell it. Tier 0 looting that was supposed to be temporary, we're now moving on to close to a year now, and it's still tier 0 looting. You can't even, so you board a spaceship and you can't steal the cargo that they have because they're running cargo missions, and you can't loot people's armor, and you know, so who really cares? Why even pirate? Why even attempt to? Because it's no fun anymore. And even when it was even when you were able to pirate people, it became no fun after a while, because 99% of the hits that you would do, like 100% honesty here, I would say out of the 2,000 plus hits that I did in the 2.5 years that I played Star Citizen, I would say maybe 10 or 15 of those would actually fight back or come back and try to rescue their cargo or provide some sort of defense for their ship. The other, 2,345 that we hit either alt F4'd or logged out or just laid there like a dead fish until we took their stuff off of them. And that was that. It's not any fun anymore. It just becomes very not fun. I was always hoping to board people and have them fight back, and they never fought back. So anyways, so I watched a very small snip of this, and it was about the Paladin, and that's it. And I watched 15 seconds of it. So yeah, I know nothing about CitizenCondirect this year. We'll dive into it. I'm not sure if I'm going to cover the whole thing, but we'll dive into this and see what the fantastic people at CIG did this year. Oh yeah, that's right. You can't board ships in armistice zones anymore. That pushes you out. Let's skip this.
Marked a turning point in Star Citizen's history. We
have oh no, too far back.
Flawlessly.
Right there. We'll right there. Okay. Let's see what Christ Roberts has to say.
This year has marked a turning point in Star Citizen's history. We have finally moved past the question of whether we can build an architecture to deliver a universe with incredible detail at massive scale, seamlessly, and where thousands of people can all play together. Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months.
We're starting off strong here, boys. We're starting off strong here. Oh my God. Seamlessly and flawlessly for the past 9 months. Yep, we're starting off strong here, boys. I'm not even gonna give that a response, because we all know that is we all know that is not true.
It has brought a more populated and active verse with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once. It's greatly
in the same space at once. No, they're not. No, they are not. And Pyro is empty. Nobody goes to Pyro because you're gonna get murdered there. So everybody's still in Stanton. And the 10 or 15 people that are over in Pyro have the whole system to themselves. So let's not even, no. And I guarantee you, if they were to spin up Orison right now, like Siege of Orison, it would just tank. Xenothreat. What was the one with the Idris that you had to go to? That wasn't Xenothreat. Was that Xenothreat? I don't remember. Who cares? The events are all the same anyways. The one with the Idris, we all know that one choke up and die very quickly, because everybody would bring their Idris as well there too. Desync would be god-awful. The lag and lag spikes would be god-awful.
Server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience.
Oh yes,
very
responsive.
Be prouder of the team. They delivered something
Gotta
no
wait
other
30
online
seconds
game
for a
does
button
presently.
to push.
There may be other games out there that claim large player counts or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvement.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of other games that do server meshing now, and for him to kind of just like brush that off is a little disingenuous. Do they do it at the scale that Star Citizen does? No, but do they do it better than Star Citizen? Yes, they do.
To server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to finally focus on quality of life and stability improvements, something that has long been overdue.
Okay, so as I said, I have not played in the last 6 months, and I watch people that play every day or every other day for hours on end, and everything that he is saying is 100% not true. It's not true. It's not true at all. I watch them struggle with buttons not pressing and doing what they're supposed to do for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a full minute. I'm still watching ships get eaten. I'm still watching ATCs not respond. I'm watching cargo disappear, cargo fall through ships, hangar floors disappear, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Desync is still a major problem. All of these quote unquote quality of life and stability things that they're claiming has been fixed is not fixed. It's not even remotely close to being fixed. I was under the impression that this was the year of stability and playability, and as far as that goes, all they have added is Disneyland theme park zones. where you can fight a Valakar, and now you can fight a not Valakar in a different location, and a few new points of interest. That is not a sandbox MMO. That's this is a theme park ride, is what it's coming down to.
To deliver our 9th patch in 10 months with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And while there is still a long way to go, the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result. We see this in player metrics. More of you play every day. The daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your playtime is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse.
The playtime is up 15% because everything that you do revolves around you having to land your ship, unload boxes, put them on an elevator, send them down, fight with the elevator UI, then call new boxes up, and then load your ship for 25 minutes, and then button everything up and take off and go do it again at another fucking location. That's why time is way up. That's why time is 100% way up.
And stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters Assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to
combat the regen crisis, aka we need to sell more ships. We're going to make some green gel.
To look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next star system would be Nukes, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the Vandal threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nukes begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's third system comes online in Alpha 4.4. 2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes, and most importantly, all of you. Now, I do miss that we're not
all of your money
under one roof this year.
We need all of your money.
But in many ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties, 9 of them with our developers in attendance, and countless others springing up in communities everywhere, and all happening simultaneously today.
Oh, don't worry, Jim, it'll get delayed.
If we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for discovery, and for this incredible universe we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming plans for the next year of Star Citizen.
Our up-and-coming plans for Star Citizen that we will not fulfill like last year and the year before and the year before. Honestly, since I've been here, the only CitizenCon that they got a majority of the stuff that they talked about getting out was CitizenCon 2022. That was the absolute best year for Star Citizen as far as CitizenCon to versus getting things out. They got I'd say roughly 70% of everything that they talked about in a CitizenCon into the PU. You guys are aware that last year I made a video and they got less than 20% into the game. And a lot of this stuff that they continually talk about CitizenCon after CitizenCon has been shown as far back as 2016, and it is still not in the PU in any way, shape, or form. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. Take everything that they say with a grain of salt, because they will not of this. They're going to miss a lot. They always do. They always do. Ooh, hype! Hype! Hype train! And honestly, nothing screams we spent too much money like last year's CitizenCon to this year's CitizenCon. Welcome, TN. Oh, that was the Paladin. I know the Paladin. So how much of this is going to be copy pasted? Because Pyro is like 90%,
With
if
the
not
foundational technology now in place, the
more.
content
Boo, bring
development
back
of the
Todd
game
Pappy.
is no longer restricted, allowing us to forge ahead with building out our first 5 star systems. Nyx will see the much-loved Levski landing zone added back to the verse, while also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacium Belt. Here, you'll experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures
AKA to Theaters of War, what?
for you to discover. With this edition of our 3rd star system, we're also going to do something that's at the heart of the entire Star Citizen experience, and that is
what's that?
to build it right in front of you. As we have done this year.
No.
with the addition of several-
See, we were just told the other day that when you guys tell us what you're doing and then we talk about it, that it sets your work back months. So I'm sorry, but we got to have one or the other. We got to have one or the other here. Either you're building it in front of us, or are you going to, build it and then allow people to test it, and then when they type it out in a Spectrum post, you're gonna just absolutely go ape shit and tell us that you wasted months and months worth of work. Which is it here? Seriously, which is it? For just for today, man. Just for today, Wiser, and welcome.
Major locations such as the Hathor facility or the Lazarus complex. We will continue to unveil new Nyx content throughout the year. It's a slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro, but we feel this gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0. I'm so incredibly proud of the work.
Last year you guys said 1.0, well, not 1.0, but all the stuff that you were going to add was 12 to 18 months away
of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
A little story. Guys, get your crackers. Tuck yourselves in. Pull the blankets up high.
In 2025, we introduced 2 major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone for adventure across the universe. The first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless, brutal,
Why not
and
just
determined to
add the
wipe out
features
any
that you guys
threats
have been talking
across
about for the last 3.5
and with
years?
this month's release,
and
you'll now take
allow
part in the
players to
conclusion
create
that
their own
storyline.
stories.
The second was
Kind of
Science
like
Run
we
Amok,
did with
with
Jumptown
the
before you
regen
took it
crisis,
over.
throwing the Empire into chaos, and you all jumping in to help the various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices, uncovering long-forgotten Onyx facilities, and met new characters like
thanks for
Dr.
the sub.
Logan Yorit and Detective Arkham Meller of the Hawkrow Agency. And just like the Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system, Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0. As this new chapter of Star Citizen begins, let's hear from just a few of the team members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
Nyx. I wish Quantum looked
When
like
the
that.
Nyx system was first discovered, the United Empire of Earth, the UE, came out and did scans and kind of found out that the system wasn't really worth settling. The planets were too hard to
Now, I'm wondering with the scanning, did they do the quick scan or the long scan? For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, go back to last year's. I think it was last year's. No, it was 2 years ago, SitCon. It was 2 years ago. They talked about having a long scan and a quick scan. And where is that?
terraform the
You'd think that would be
resources
very
were too tough
easy to
get,
add.
So they opened it up. And one company saw opportunity where the UE didn't, QV Planet Services. And so they expanded into the system and tried to mine as much as they could, making a very slim margin by the sheer quantity of resources they were pulling out.
The system itself sort of ran its course from sort of a large corporate interest perspective, and then was mostly
Long scan and quick scan has never been in the game. It's never been here. It was supposed to be a ping type thing, and it's never been here. It's never been added. They talked about it. It's never been added. Just like FPS ping has never been added, which gave you the ability to see through walls and see heartbeats and things like that. That's never been added.
Abandoned.
Now, this ended up being the ideal situation for the People's Alliance, who were a group.
Really? Really? Please show me. Please show me. For real. Show me. Send me a link. Send me a link. Show me where that is. I'd love to see it. You can barely even scan ships. So where is the long and the short ping? Star Marine is not the PU.
Of revolutionaries who were trying to overthrow the dictatorship of the Messer regime that was going on in the empire at the time.
So they went to the Nix system and established what became known as Levski. They wanted to make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
They set up what they saw as their ideal society, where everyone's voices would be heard, where everyone would be equal. But they've fallen onto hard times.
So where is it now? So where is it now? You can't, if we're going to go and do this round and round circle, I can bring up stuff from 2016 that was added and taken out. It's not here now. It doesn't work now. You can't do that sort of thing and be like, oh, well, it was here, but then it's gone. And then it's here, and then it's gone. No, this is supposed to be things that are added in the game and kept in the game. I don't pretend anything. Right now, you're doing mental gymnastics. I can show things from 2013. I can show things from 2016. Like, okay, why doesn't the sandworm move like they showed in 2016? Why doesn't the sandworm, do all the things that it's supposed to do when they first showed it? Instead, you have to go and do a summoning system. It's stupid. They should be free roaming. That's what they were supposed to be. Where's the fauna and the I forget the other word. Where's the fauna and all the other stuff that was shown in 2016, 2017, 2018? It's not here.
So Nix today
then
is kind
leave.
of at an interesting point
Then
in its
leave.
history.
Nobody
Now that
is
the
keeping you
UEE
here.
has kind
Then
of
leave.
transformed itself into a democratic
Then
society.
leave.
What is their role? What are the People's Alliance rebelling against? And they still see the empire as being inherently unfair. They see their role as still trying to create a free and fair society. But on the other hand, they have more problems than ever, and there's new threats lurking around every corner. And they have to ask, are they prepared to handle that? Or
What's up,
do they
Firefrost?
need to turn to the UEE for help?
I thought Star Citizen cons were supposed to be about features they're adding, not about
Making a star system is
story times.
You approach it from kind of two angles in a weird way. What is this system bringing to the gallery? How does this new system plug into it?
No, see, I played this game every day, literally every day, 6 hours plus a day for nearly 2 years. I went back and I watched all the games cons, all the sitcon, and all that other stuff. You don't know what I've spent, and what is it any of your business what I spent on it? You're brand new here. You have no idea what I've spent on this game. And why am I not allowed to have criticisms on something I bought? Something that I want to be better, not just a amusement park theme ride. This is supposed to be a sandbox MMO, and right now, try concierge, dickwad. If you don't want to be here, leave. Leave.
And what does it bring
Good
to
for
the table
you.
from a sort of a
Good
flavor
for you.
experience? We
You
want to make
probably
sure
won't
that
log
whatever it's
in
bringing
4
to
times a
the-
year when a new
the
patch comes
company
out.
is unique and has some flair to it.
Yeah,
So the
with
Nix
my
system
own
is
money.
a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure
They've made a
and
lot of
influence
promises.
of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged system with a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present
I
threat
don't.
of Vandal.
See, I know you're brand new here. I know you're brand new here because you keep throwing around the word hate so much. But you have no idea. You have no idea. You have no idea what I've said about this game at all.
A frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro. It's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like.
So you're the kind of guy. You're the kind of guy that goes to a restaurant and orders a $200 steak, medium rare, and you get it well done, and then you don't complain about it because they obviously know what they're doing. They obviously know what they're doing. So why complain about it? Whereas I'm the guy that orders a $200 steak. It comes to me well done, and I send it back because that's not what I paid for. It's the same thing.
a Mad Max wasteland, and Nix is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs. You're still going to find hostile
Yes, that's supposed to be open development. That is supposed to be open to criticism, but they've since closed the doors to that. You post anything critical, you get hit by
unhappy
Knight Rider
the
CIG
direction
or
that the Empire was going under the
J3PT.
Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect. They're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nix safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
They're not being open.
The Pyro Star is quite a warm star. Stanton Star is quite neutral. And the Nix is a little bit cooler.
Nix is a little bit cooler.
Has its star.
I mean, it looks pretty so far.
Really, really dense
But
gas,
what's going to be in
sort
it?
of nebulous cloud. And it has points of light scattered around it. And those points of light in this gas cloud is really, really hazy.
Does that mean we're going to actually get
So because Nix
cloud
is
mining?
bordering Vandal space, it was important that we have a gap in the Nix gas cloud where you could sort of just...
Then you
in between
shouldn't
the
sell it
clouds
as a
see
Kickstarter that's
a
for
piece
open
of Vandal
development and
space.
open to your criticism.
It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light. The level designers are using it as an actual visual indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it, you should find...
Yes, the
as we build it
Caldair's
out, that
restructured
you
their
will
put option
be
for
in
quarter
more and more
one through
danger.
quarter three of
And
next
I think
year.
that's really cool.
So I have a feeling that if CIG and Chris Roberts fumbles here, they're going to pull their money.
Atmosphere, I was testing out adding some sort of space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun, you can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light. For the jump points in Nix, we'll have 2 on this release. We'll have 1 from Pyro to Nix and 1 from Stanton to Nix. It should
Yes,
be
'cause you can't
going
have anybody
from
fly through
Nix
Pyro, 'cause
to
that would be
Castra,
bad.
But we're essentially
Pyro's a
bypassing
murder
Castra
death
temporarily.
haven.
Hey, we want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
Glacian Belt is a huge asteroid belt that is in sort of the middle of the system.
They're
Glacian Belt is a
in
combination of
60 some
a
odd
bunch of
million
technologies that we
plus
already
the
have.
loan
Asteroid
that
fields we use for
CIG took from
planetary
them.
rings and gas
So
clouds.
I think
And
it's like, I
combining
think you're
them to
right. I
make
think it's like
something
80 or
completely
90
new that we've
million
just not
dollars
seen
that they're
before.
in, and the put option
full
allows them to
of
pull
resources
somewhere
that are
between
still left
120 and
unharvested
160
because
million.
It's kind of a tricky
And
spot
as
for
of
mining.
last
Not the
accounting
easiest
paperwork,
place to go.
CIG
But that
has
means that
about
there's still
5
a
million
lot
in the
of
bank plus
opportunity for independent
plus
miners to
building
go out
assets
there.
and whatnot.
So the
So,
rocks in Nix
If the
are
Caldair's
a bit more
pull,
sharp,
it'll be
sorts of
very
like icy look.
it'll be a very
rocky,
bad day for CIG.
Cliff-like, very different from those in the Pyro and the Stanton.
One of the big differences too is all of that extra added movement that just adds a little bit of extra flair.
It's also a good hiding spot for people who are trying to elude capture, maybe set up ambushes, that type of stuff.
always feel way more interesting flying in those spaces than just, through empty void.
And as we build out the Glacian build over the next year, lots of places to put new content.
Delamar is a very large asteroid in the Glacian belt.
Look, I'm aware that a lot of companies operate in the red and in the black, but a lot of those companies have their put options listed as, what is it called?
Levski is
as a deficit,
first
whereas CIG does not.
Host for Nix.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning.
Usually,
So it's
TN,
kind
that's
of,
usually how
San
that
Francisco
works.
before you go out to the gold rush.
It's going to be the central hub for
Fucking leave,
trade
TN.
and hauling and all of the commerce within Nix and also from Nix to other systems. But it does have a CD underlayer to it.
Over the years, you're sort of improving the generation method of those asteroids to culminate towards this specific point to make large, explorable location.
Let me put it for you to understand, TN, because the culters haven't operated and pulled their put option. There. Or do you need crayon flavor to go with it? Which color do you like? Green,
When you fly
pink?
towards the Levski, you see this huge gas ring around it, scattered small, mid-sized pieces of the asteroids.
Well, Levski is immediately apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking into the belt instantly gives it
You can go look it up on their financial records. It's not a
As you
secret.
approach, you'll initially see a very dramatic borehole that goes all the
You
way
shouldn't
through the
lie,
asteroid.
TN. It's really
You'll
bad.
also see growing out from there and alongside Levski.
I don't
there will
remember
be
the original
landing
Levski.
pads along what I'd call the spine. Lots
all of this looks
industrial
super
pipes and
cool
transport
and pretty.
systems to bring out the refined mining materials when it was a mining station.
Before we were using an actual planet, so we had all of the space available to place all
It's
of
not
these
a
structures.
narrative.
But now it kind of meant that we had to create an asteroid.
I'm sorry,
which has the
facts hurt your
appropriate
feelings
size
this
to-
way.
If we took the whole shot of the asteroid, you will see that there is an area to fly underneath. We plan on bringing in Hull C
The narrative of that you have to be a game dev in order to have criticism is tired and old. It's tired and old. I don't have to be a game dev to play a video game to understand if it's good or bad. It's pretty
So
fucking
this is
simple.
Exterior.
Concord, shit. I don't know. You pick any other game that's relatively better than that. It's better. Then there's other games that are really good. And Star Citizen falls in the middle of being a shit game because there's literally nothing to do in the game. It is a mile wide and an inch deep. Nothing is connected. Nothing plays off of each other. It's either Box Moving Simulator 3000, whether you're doing moving mining bags around, you're doing salvage, you're doing cargo. Outside of that, you get a few combat missions, and that's it. And none of it connects to each other. There's no interconnected reputation systems. There's nothing. There is literally nothing. There's nothing. And that's why the game is shit right now. You can't even, you PvP people, you get called a griefer and hacker and many other things. You try to pirate people, you can't pirate anymore because it's basically dead, because all anybody runs now is cargo missions. They don't run commodities, so you're left to stealing off of salvage, and salvage is for the most part worthless. And once again, you're forced to play Box Mover Simulator 3000. Like, who cares? Who cares? And 99% of the events are structured to sell ships. That's all they're for.
Cargo elevators, so as a team, you will be able to load and unload cargo.
There's a lot more movement on the exterior, such as the cargo trains going around tracks. It's now going to be fully EVA-able.
And that's what we're asking for is gameplay.
Around the main landing zone
we want gameplay, like actual interconnected gameplay, like they said they would have
and kind of go wherever
long before where we're at now.
They can explore fully the whole place, which is great.
Unlike the majority of anarchists living in Pyro, there are people here.
Do you mean the 15 people?
It's not a downtrodden or derelict, dilapidated location. It has a sense of order.
But only where the People's Alliance has people living.
But we've had Levski before, and we've updated it quite substantially to be more in
that
line
guy's
with
beard
the
jewelry.
newer features that have been put in since, but also visually. And there's been a lot of quality of life fixes that we've wanted to add and bring up to like a good standard. For
Wait. You can do Elite for like an hour. Empty planets are not interesting. So what makes Star Citizen any different? It's literally 99% empty except for a few POIs. Come on, man.
Landing zone.
Come on.
Gracing the main lobby of Levski is a large statue of Anthony Tanaka, who was a child worker.
And was being worked to death. All of them were. And Anthony Tanaka just had a break and just said no, and stood up against the foremen, the supervisors, the managers, the guards, and was killed for it. And so he became a sort of a figurehead.
And kind of was one of the linchpin moments in seeing the fall of the Messer regime.
Welcome to Levski. Coming next month.
If you take the elevator up to
Buggy
the
shit
top
mess.
deck, you'll see the top
Just
view
like Pyro.
and the cargo.
It'll
area
take
as
us
well.
6 months
so
to
you can go
fix
through
it.
the cargo shop. You've got your normal kind of cargo needs. You'll have ability to trade and buy your tractor beam and other gear that you need. So if you were to die in the Nix system, then one of the places you might come
so
out
far
from
what I'm seeing is
hospital in
Levski
Nevsky, which
is
is called the
Pyro
Mercy
/
Hospital.
Grim Hex, just a
So
little
Mercy
bit
Hospital
cleaner.
is just basically, it's a local med station for all the residents of Levski. Anybody traveling through the system, again, they're trying to provide as good medical.
And see, that's some of the interconnected gameplay that we've been waiting for and wanting, Jim. Like, I should be able to take packages or cargo from one place to another. And, we talk about finite resources, right? So if one POI is low on hydrogen or quantum, I should be able to go to another PI or to a station or to Pyro or anywhere else and pick up hydro and quantum. And this is just an example, and bring it to them so that POA looks like can refuel, right? Or if there's, a food shortage or water shortage or whatever the case may be, you can move these things around from place to place and gain rep with these people. Or if you've done bad to them, you don't have very good reps. So as soon as you attempt to land, they start shooting at you. Things like that. Interconnected gameplay, right? Not just I earned rep with Area 18 for moving boxes around for 5 days straight, and now I can take the the highest available cargo mission to make more money to buy another ship that really doesn't do like anything, right? I said interconnected gameplay. I don't like the trade game because it's boring. It's box moving 3000. I didn't say I wanted to play it. I just gave an example, a very easy example. TN, you are such a moron. You're such a moron. You see the title, and by the way, welcome Ghost Wolf. You see the title called Citizencon. More hype, nothing delivered again. And yet you come here and you try to act like you know shit when you don't. And you have not just me, but multiple people in chat basically telling you you're wrong. And then you come back saying, no, I'm not. You are. You're wrong. You're wrong. None of us here signed up for what we're getting right now. And because we criticize it, we're mean, evil people. Because we want the game to be better than it is. And not just Trade Simulator 3000 or Mining Simulator 3000 to make the most amount of money to buy the next ship, to do the next gameplay, to buy the next ship and buy the next ship and buy the next ship and buy the next ship.
Help for people as they can.
You know, it's funny. I got banned from Refund Sub. That's really funny. I'm banned from there. So why? How am I reciting Star Citizen Refund Reddit? I'm banned. I'm not allowed there. So why would I be regurgitating what they say? Because I'm banned there. I'm not allowed to be. I'm not allowed on the Star Citizen Refund Reddit anymore. I got banned for sticking up for the game. That's wow. It's very intelligent of you. And once again, if you didn't come in here and make assumptions like the asshole that you are, you would maybe ask some questions. I am banned from Star Citizen Refund Reddit. I'm not allowed there anymore because I stuck up for the game. After I quit the game. After I quit the game. After I quit, after I was angry at the game and regurgitating lies, I stood up for the game and called people out for some of the bullshit that they were saying in there. And I am banned. I am banned.
When you arrive at the hab's location, you'll be presented with a lobby, elevator bank, and then you will take that transit to the hab room. So within that room will be pods.
And that's where the original miners would have lived. They're not the nicest, and they're a bit messy, but they're a home for people in Levski. If you head down to the lower view deck, you'll go through into the Grand Barter, which is your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see market sellers selling their wares. There will be
okay, that's cool. Are we going to interact with the
more
NPCs or just a
shops.
screen on the wall?
And that includes things like Corderies, which is your armor shop, and also conscientious objects, which is for weapons. There's also one of my favorite places, Cafe Musée, which is where you can go down into some of the more rocky depths and grab yourself a drink, and you never know who you meet down there.
I think it's hilarious that I'm getting
a bit more around the
told that I'm reciting Star Citizen refund stuff, yet I'm banned from there. I'm not allowed to interact with it anymore
away from that area
because I stood up for a game.
Teach a Ship Shop is
Called people out on bullshit that they were saying.
Looking to pick up a used ship. Buy some
Oh, they
ship
made
parts,
me buy a new
fix
account when
ship,
my
find some
account
new
got
stuff,
locked. No, they didn't.
Sell some scrap.
You're banned.
We've closed up
You're
Dumpers
banned.
Depot for Levski, and everything that
I'm doing
used to be
good.
sold there will now be sold at Teachers.
You know, I made a new channel and I cover other
Another
stuff
new area as
because
well as the
Star
cargo
Citizen
shop
and
we've
video
added
gaming
is
in general
the
is
refinery deck for Levski. That's where you
absolute
can
ass
take
these
your
days.
processed goods, not just from Levski, but from the rest of the
We're
Nix
basically
system,
getting
and
the same
refine and sell
regurgitated
those
games
goods
over
there.
and over again. And then with Star
As a lot of the
Citizen,
content
year after
in
year, it's
the
the same
next coming
shit.
releases
Next
for
patch,
Nix
next
is going to be
patch.
mining related.
In 2 years, next
So it's
patch.
super important
2 years,
that
next
Levski
patch.
is a really nice hub for mining type of gameplay. So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years now.
I think it really provided a unique environment of it's run down, but the people who live there.
It's funny, I'm being accused of peddling hate. Are you going to call me a Nazi next? A fascist? A video game fascist? Is that what I am? Because the game is basically in a shit state and has been in a shit state for the last year since they introduced hangars, basically, and master modes. It's been in a shit state. And honestly, before that, it was in a shit state. It really was. It's just people are too stupid, or they have the what's it called? The money fallacy going on.
Love it and are working their hardest to make it a great place to live.
This is a location that has a lot of nostalgia.
I haven't played Expedition
for you
33.
guys,
I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot of
we
really
don't
good
want
things
this
about
just
it.
to be a re-release. We do want you to go, wow.
It's not going to be as complete as Pyro was it first came out,
Kind of like the social,
and you're going to be able to see it grow.
The social tools that they showed off last year that should have been an easy slam dunk to have into the game by this year.
I mean, is there anything more Star Citizen?
I mean, that should have. I mean, that's really day one stuff that should have been added in. And they showed it last year, and I figured within 6 months or so they would have it introduced to the game. But
the people that would have played it before are going to love to see this come back, and the people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time that I'm going to be able to touch stuff and kind of bring my own content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me. So I worked on the original
it'll be cool to have it back.
Time ago. So seeing it come back and updated and improved and better is fantastic.
I know. Opinions are bad. Opinions are bad. Not allowed to have opinions.
So
not allowed to
about Levski.
criticize things that you love and want to become one of the greatest video games ever created in the history of man. And for the next 25 to 50 years, have every game possibly compared to it. I mean,
in a new solar system.
Horrible thing to want. It's a horrible thing to want.
Things for the player to explore.
It's a horrible thing to
there's
get
going to be
so
some twists
close
and
to
turns,
something and it burn you so bad,
and if you're
you
lucky enough to survive,
still hold the opinion that maybe one day it'll be the greatest game ever made.
Kind of our ASD
and then you get a loser like TN come in here and be like, "You're the biggest asshole ever. Stop pretending like you know stuff." Even though you covered it in and out for
sort of
2 years and even went back and watched old games cons and dug through old forum posts and
continuing on that trail.
Learned all the things that they've been talking about for the last 14 years, and $1.1 billion later still have not made it or have been taken out for one reason or another.
So the Navy contracts with them a lot.
It's absolutely awful. How dare somebody have an opinion on a product that they bought?
Handle themselves.
How dare they?
We want players to be working directly
that looks
for
awful.
the Navy. The Navy just doesn't call up random citizens and ask like, "Hey, if you're free, can you fly a helicopter?" I guess as a player, when you can think about like, "Oh, where am I going to be doing missions that are capital ship battles or large fleet scale stuff or military operations?" That's all going to come from Intersect Defense Solutions. Intersect have discovered the source of the illegal tech.
And I bet you have zero complaints about it.
And an old abandoned
I already
TV
did sell out Fuck Nugget. Like I said, maybe stop coming in here and making assumptions.
What's going on?
Maybe ask some questions with a little bit of respect. Just a little bit of respect.
And you start your approach vector to the objective.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Maybe I wouldn't talk to you the way I'm talking to you if you would have a little bit of respect and maybe ask a couple of questions before making assumptions. I'm loving this because I'll sit here all day and do this with you, man, all day. But see, I had a little bit of respect. You don't. So until then, fuck off. You're a piece of shit and you shouldn't be here.
You'll be weaving through asteroids, going through the glacial belt.
You could just ask some questions like, do you still play? Do you still have an account? What made you decide to leave? What made you decide to leave? Why did you go from playing 6+ hours a day, 6+ hours a day, spending thousands of dollars on a video game and thousands of dollars on peripheral controllers and spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on streaming setups like a mixing board and multiple cameras, studio lights, new mic, new everything. Why would you do that for a game that you absolutely hate? Why? Maybe ask some questions. And I just said I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I want this to be the best game ever created and have my kids compare video games that come out in 2076 as to, is it going to be as good as Star Citizen? Is it going to be as good as Star Citizen? Really? can I get it off? No, I can't. My sticks are a little too mounted to the desk right now. I have the VKB Evos, and I got the Logitech TP3 blah 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 racing pedals. You do kind of have to do a little bit finessing with those pedals in Joystick Gremlin to split the sliders if you want to use them for a throttle. So when I played Star Citizen, my clutch and gas pedal work in combination to go forward and backwards. So yeah, but I have, for those of you that don't know, the first couple iterations of the VKB Gladiator Evos don't play very well with Star Citizen, and whenever they do an update, they will go haywire, and sometimes the right stick will become the right stick will become the left stick, and the left stick will become the right, or the controls will get completely mirrored, so down is up and up is down, and etc. So but if you buy newer VKB Gladiator Evos, you should not have that problem, but the older ones don't play nicely when they do an update. Yeah, I wish it was. That's why I have 15 profiles set for Star Citizen, so that way if it's like, oh, they're mirrored, I click this one. Oh, they're backwards, I click this one. So I mean, it works. It's just a pain in the ass sometimes when they update it. Are the VKBs worth it? I really do think so. They have some of the best support out there. Also, the sticks are well made. And if you buy things like the 45-degree angle adapter, you know, you can flip the thing over and remove the spring and make it a true HOTAS. You can lock out different axes, not just the twist axis, but, you know, the X and the Y. You know, a lot of cool different things. Plus, you can, at the time, I don't know about now, it's been 4 years since I bought it. It's been 3 years since I bought them. But at the time on their website, they had a package that you could buy that would, if you needed to, you could replace all the buttons, hat switches, everything. And so I bought that then too. Like I spent between shipping, the sticks, the 45-degree angle adapter, all the extra buttons and whatnot, I spent close to $700 on them, and I think it's way worth it. I think it's, unless you plan on building a sim, like a realistic sim pit, or you plan on playing like DCS competitively or anything like that, I would stick with VKBs. I wouldn't go with Virpils. But I think they're definitely a big step up from, say, like the Thrustmaster T1000s or whatever they're called, or 3000s or whatever. I've had various models of the Logitechs, the Microsoft. I have one right here still.
Shares design cues from old Pan Am stations
Logitech
found in Pyro.
3Ds,
This architectural design
the Logitech X52s, the Thrustmaster, the orange and black ones, they all break within a year, especially if you're playing daily. The rotations will break.
Skeletal in design. You'll see logistics
a lot of the triggers will break.
But also,
and there's no way to replace them. It's just buy another one. Whereas if stuff breaks on your VKB, you can just call up support and be like, hey, my dual stage trigger on my Gladiator VKB Evo broke, I need another one, and they'll send it.
It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to? Away from the Polaris, you'll see struts leading to asteroid bases. Now, these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly.
I think No Man's Sky did a really good job. You know, they went from being the laughing stock of the gaming community.
So not only is this facility unabandoned,
now
but it's also
they're one of the head guys.
From a surprising,
they're at the head table as far as the space genre is considered. Are the graphics cartoony? Yeah. Not everything needs to be realistic. Is there a lot to do in the game? Debatable. like, I don't mind doing some of the stuff that they have in the game, but it does become a little bit repeatable and redundant and boring. But that being said, it's a good game for what it is. At least it knows what it is and doesn't try to be anything else.
For the first time, the PU, the Vandal.
It basically stays in its lane, and I think it's a decent game. I've played it. It's
So the
fun.
Vandal
Base
are
building's not
a
bad.
Nomadic, very, very, very violent space.
I very much like Space Engineers as well. Space Engineers is
outposts and such in
once
the
again
Nix
super
system. They
amazing
don't
game,
really
and I can't
know
wait
what they
until
want, don't know why
Space
they're
Engineers
doing it,
2
but it
is
seems
fully
like whoever's running the station
done
is
and
really pissed them
has
off.
multiplayer added.
Vandal raiding parties have been arriving in the system. And
Yeah, the
they're
graphics on No Man's
unaffiliated
Sky
to any
do
clan.
kind of suck.
The small groups coming in and picking at them. But as time goes on, those raids have getting bigger and more frequent.
They'll
So
be
are
the
we going to
sizes that you're
actually
familiar
get
with.
Vandal this time?
Glaives and blades that we all know and hate. And a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
What is it, a big
You will be
Redeemer-sized
contacted
gunship?
by some civilians on arrival asking you for help.
So at this point, you have a choice. You can either bug out, mission over, or join the fight. This will be the first time since the PU launch that you'll be able to fight against Vandal aggressor ships.
This fight will be,
That'll be cool.
intense.
Is it always
Player
going to be like
should be able to deal with
mission-based?
them, but
Event
they'll have
and
to be
story-based,
prepared,
I should
they'll have
say.
to come back in to fight off this initial wave, and that won't be the end of it.
I mean, that would be cool, and we
After you
need
fight off the Vandal
for a
ships,
game that
the,
says it has
mysterious
aliens in
inhabitants
it,
of
and
the
then
station
you play it,
invite
and
you to
there's
come on board.
literally no
Which
aliens in it
insects
except for a
we'll
holographic
encourage you to
version
do
of a
because it'll help
whatever
further
the hell
their
alien it's
investigation
called.
against
It
what's
Wicklow.
happening here, why these QB stations
It's
have
pretty
come back
disappointing.
You dock your ship, you board the station, and it
But
turns out the
TN tells
inhabitants
me
here
I'm
have a real
lying,
surprise
so
for you.
apparently there's aliens somewhere in the game.
The player will be immediately ambushed. These guys are not your friends.
Of course, it's not going to be easy because the people that are inhabiting the station are going to fight you every step of the way.
But okay, that's cool, but are we going to fight Vandal on the ground too? Because those don't look like Vandal. I know what they're saying. I talked over it. They're fighting people from factions in Nix, but are we going to actually fight against Vandal on the ground?
Challenging, but this definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the players getting a sense of what exactly is going on there, who these new people are. They'll be in unfamiliar armor. They'll be wielding unfamiliar weapons. And
that would be really cool,
to get
Jim.
A sense
I would love to be a
new
Vandal.
place, in a new territory,
I would love to be a Vandal.
fighting a new faction.
Be a scary motherfucker boarding people's
So
ships.
after you survive this initial ambush, you get back in touch with Intersec, and obviously the question is, who are these people? Why are they attacking?
I mean,
why is the Vandal attacking them?
I mean, copiums, I
There's more
guess,
going on
are
here than anything.
aliens.
The directive from Intersect is to explore the station and collect as much information as you possibly can.
Not pterodactyls.
Along the way, you're going to
the
get to explore
Valakar
some
not
new
Dune
areas.
space sandworm.
It's not just the space station.
And the
There's the
not
disabled capital
reskinned
ship.
Valakar
There's asteroid bases
snake.
nearby with obvious
I guess those
installations
are
there,
aliens.
Other forces that the Vandal
I
have been
mean,
attacking.
yeah, but I
There's a
want to be an
debris
actual
field.
Vandal.
Explore the locations in any order you want and try to find out who these people are and why the
I want
Vandal are
like
after
the
them.
skin
You'll find new clues.
all the way
You'll find
through.
ways to solve the puzzle of what's going on at the space station.
I forget how many fingers they
find
have.
out what kind of loot they have.
The 3
for you,
fingers or the 4 fingers.
Now that you beat them.
And of course, this is a legally open station, so anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Wicklow.
The Wicklow thing's getting old already.
This isn't just a one-time event. This is a permanent.
And see, here's
mission.
the other problem with doing in-game events like this right now is you know Wicklow really is an event anymore, but when you do the things like Wicklow and you do the events and you unlock a ship and then the next patch comes out and it's gone, like why take the time to continually do that? I'm probably lying once again, but 318 was supposed to have long-term persistence, and they said almost 3 years ago that was going to stop things from being deleted after you earn them, but it still happens. You still lose ships, you still lose components, you lose guns, you lose cargo that you had stored, things like that. that was supposed to stop. It still hasn't stopped. And so, and I'll say it again. I think the absolute biggest thing facing CIG and Star Citizen when it comes to server meshing, dynamic server meshing, long-term persistence, entity streaming in and out, and things like that is, I think they have a data issue, and that they need to solve before a lot of other things get solved. You know, I don't know if I streamed that or not, but I had talked to several people involved with that do their version of server meshing, and they said that a lot of the times the stuff that we complain about Star Citizen goes back to data, and yeah, they need to resolve that, basically.
That we're going to be adding to the game.
You can go back and repeat this mission and find ways to do it even better, even faster.
There'll be a different story and different flavor. Obviously, we can't have the same thing happen every time. There'll be other missions.
You're correct, TN. It didn't say that they weren't going to wipe, but on patches that are not wipes, your stuff still disappears. So that needs to be fixed. That sounds to me like a data issue.
That Intersect will offer to you based on the evidence that you found.
Now you know the real story, and you can start digging.
And they've already admitted multiple times that their inventory, or the way that they do inventory in the game, is completely messed up and needs to be redone from the ground up. So maybe one day they'll do that. I don't know. Once again, I think wiping should still be a thing. Every major patch should be a wipe. Little updates like, 317.2, 317.5, 4.3 point whatever. Those, you should not be losing anything. But I think like when, 4.0 comes out, 5.0, anything like that, then yes, things need to wipe. They need to start it over, especially if they ever get something like Quanta or what's it called, Star Economy into the game. That yes, we need a wipe, and they need us, because they don't have a QA, obviously. They need us to actually test the player-to-player economy in the game, and the player to NPC economy in the game. Yes, there should be a full wipe. Everything should go bye-bye. Everybody should start at, their allotted amount, 25,000 AUEC, and they should do a long-term test of the economy. But once again, we don't know when and if that is ever coming.
Information to intersect along the way.
That Stinger does look pretty cool, but it looks like it is going to be a beefy ship. Then if you pancake it,
finally see the Van
if you get it to pancake,
I'm
it's
excited to
game
bring
over.
Cool Van Duel ship combat to SC.
Players in the PU will now get to face down these awesome ships and get a taste of
I think,
like
Jim,
we already
but
have it in Arena
I'm not
Commander,
100% sure
where you
on
get to fight
that.
the Vandal Swarm, and being able to do that in the PU is going to be, I think, a heck of a lot of fun.
Star sheets, yeah, we need star sheets.
So this marks
Sheet
a great
physics
milestone for us for
2.0
not only
rework.
pushing hard and adding great content this year. We're also being able to introduce the next star system and introducing the next landscape to tell new stories and add new gameplay beats into the ever-expanding universe.
I still
So we'll
say
leave
add the
4.4
features
there.
and we'll make our own
And if you're at one
gameplay.
of the
We
watch
don't need
parties,
you to hold
please
our
raise a
hands for
toast
us.
to the great work that all the teams have been doing
honestly,
this year.
missions
And
are
I'll be right back
for
in just a
newer
few
players
minutes
that
to
don't
look
know
ahead
what's
at some
going
of the
on.
things coming in 2026.
We should be allowed to create our own gameplay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Voyager Bar in beautiful scenic Orison, where the staff of cloudimperiumgames Manchester is gathered for their very own CitizenconDirect watch party. As the dozens of such events happening
It's
at
key
locations around
feature
the world,
technology,
we've
TN,
gathered
and without
today to
sheet
watch
physics,
this
we
sneak
can't
peek
move it.
at
We
just
can't
a
move
little of
further.
what the next year of Star Citizen
We have
has
to
in
have
store
sheet
for
physics.
everyone. Oh, that was really good, everybody. I'm Jared Huckabee, your host for the festivities. And for the show today, let me tell you, it's not a joke, it's not a gag. Next week, we're hitting our 9th patch in 10 months, and then in November, we're going to finish out the year
Danny
strong
Don't
with the
videos, if you can
long-awaited
find them
arrival
online,
of the
are
Nix
hilarious.
system. And in case you missed it, because you were chatting with friends,
workplace sexual
It's not the
assaults and
lawless
harassment.
wasteland of
Those are
pyro many
hilarious
folks have been
videos.
speculating,
Somebody
but an
showed me
independent system with its own set of
one
rules
time, and they were
laws
absolutely
and multiple
hysterical.
ways to get there. It's an exciting time for everyone at Cloud Imperium Games because as the architects of our
They
persistent
are
universe said at the
reworking
start of
flight
the
right
show,
now.
the
They have
foundational tech that
another
we've been
new
building
flight
for
model
so
coming
many
out,
years has now
soon.
unlocked us to bring more to Star Citizen than ever before.
When, we don't
as
know.
We continue our journey
but
towards 1.0.
from the leaks, it sounds like it's a lot slower, and you're going to be spending more time looking down at your dashboard
we're
or your
simulcast on YouTube and
MFDs,
Twitch. So if
moving
you want
little
the
blips
keen
around.
communities of Twitch or the 4K ultra high resolution of YouTube, you have your choice.
You know.
Second, throughout the broadcast today, we want to see
We'll see how it works, but it does sound a lot slower.
And you can tell us on
They're
social
finally
media
doing
by
the one
using
thing that I've been asking for a
#CitizenCon.
long time
We're
when it comes to the
especially
flight
interested
model.
to see
So
any
instead of
photos from those
having
watch parties that are happening across the globe,
basically
we're going
an
to find some
equal-
way to bring a few of them
it's
into
not
the
a box, but
broadcast later in the
equal
program.
forward,
Third,
backward,
we've also
side to
had a
side.
CitizenCon
They're making it more
contest going
egg-shaped,
for people to create their very
which
own
means you can go faster
slice of
going
life in the
forward than
PU
you can
videos.
side
We
to
played the
side and
winning
backwards,
entries
which is
during
what
our
I've been
pre-show
asking for a
countdown.
long time.
The
Because
offerings
backstrafing
were
is
super varied.
incredibly
The idea was
overpowered
to work
and
with a
should
team
not
to
be a
show
thing.
the life of a miner or a hauler or a bounty
99%
hunter
of
or
these
whatever.
ships in the
But
PU
one guy
don't
just said,
have big
"I'm
enough
gonna make a
thrusters
video
on the
about
front of
how
the ships
awesome
to
I
go
am."
backwards
And I respect that.
as fast as they
so
do.
shout out Nocturnal Revenant. I don't remember if you were one of the winners getting an L21 Wolf from Kruger for their efforts, but you won the coveted Disco Lando Complete Narcissist Award. Good job. And to all the winners, I'm sure someone will either be in touch with you about your wolves or they'll just show
The
up on
old
your
flight
counts.
model was
I really don't know how that process
really
works.
good, and
would've been
the
good to
biggest
find out before the show,
complaint with
So
the
afraid.
old flight
Either way,
modeling,
if you
the
missed
old
the
flight
pre-show
model
and are
is that
curious if
people
you
didn't
won, you can
understand
check
how
the
to
replay
use it,
after we're done
and
here
instead of
today.
addressing the issues and showing people how to fly, other
I just
than going
realized that my
to
bosses,
content
Chris and Sandy, are
creators,
sitting in a movie
YouTube,
theater watch party in
Twitch,
Switzerland right now.
and
A completely
having them
captive audience.
teach you how to fly.
It's a real behind the scenes here.
They just decided
This
to put
is
training
especially
wheels on
torturous for
everything.
Chris right now because he's super excited about the
and make
next
it,
segment we've got coming up.
Boring,
Aren't you,
slow,
Chris?
and dull.
And you're just sat there right now, forced to watch and
Physics,
listen to anything I say.
like actual physics on these ships would also be really
Do
cool.
either of you regret
like,
that decision so long ago?
For example, in
All right, so I've
atmosphere,
probably
having
pushed
a
my luck
cat
enough.
or a
Let's get to
C2
the
fully
next thing.
loaded,
When Nix arrives next month,
should
it'll
fly
have Levski,
differently.
the Glacium Belt, and the
It
new
should fly
Welcome
a
to
lot
Nix
differently.
operation we just discussed.
Same
But
in
throughout
space. I mean,
2026,
yes,
we'll
it's zero
also
gravity
continue
and
to
things
build
like
the star
that, but
system out with
in
new
order to break
features
the
and new
atmosphere and
technologies
push
that
into
will not
space, it
only
should take
set
a lot
Nix
more
apart and
energy,
give it
a lot more
unique
fuel.
identity from its sibling star systems, but continue
I
to
do-
set Star
like, I goof
Citizen
around
apart
all the time
from other
about
video games
how
altogether. Now, at this
C2s
point, if you're running one
used
of
to
the
fly
watch
like
parties,
fat
you're gonna wanna
Vanguards, and it
crank
was
your
fun
speakers
back
up for
then.
some brand new music from the
But
maestro Pedro himself.
they
And let's
they
take
should
a
not
look
fly. They
at
should have never
some
have flown
of
like
what
that.
the next year has to offer for the Nix system.
Landing at Mach Jesus was good times. Being able to hot drop a group of guys in when you were doing org events, or even, like when we were ambushing.
At Cloud Games, we believe
What are those medical guys'
art
names again?
inspires the best
candy
technology.
canes.
And through
When
the
we would be
development
hot
of
dropping guys in to go
it pushes
harass
us
Mad
to
Runner.
create
That's it.
even better art.
Those were
When
good
Genesis
times.
comes
Those were good
to the
times.
persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience
Coming in
every
at
world.
500-600
And
meters a
not just in the building of the
second,
new
slamming on
planets,
reverse
but the Nix
thrusters
system.
and the bottom
We will
thrusters
also go
and
back through
slapping the
Stanton
ground,
and
and
Pyro and
5 guys
reimagine
jump
them
out of
through the
a
lens of our technology.
out of one of the
Previously,
what was the
and
Vanguard
more
called?
traditionally, we'd create slices of biomes.
The one with all
like
the chairs in
deserts
it.
or
I forget the name of that one.
This approach
It wasn't
moved
the
us
Sentinel.
forwards and got us this
Hoplite.
far.
It was a
But
Hoplite. That's
solving
what it
the
was. A
scale
Hoplite.
was always tricky. And for Star Citizen,
Same
we
here.
like to do scale
Same here,
on
Diz.
another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never felt right. Our worlds were gorgeous, but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations. Now, this was a super hard problem, which we needed to solve at the scale for Star Citizen requires. We challenged ourselves to emulate nature in the most believable way.
I mean,
and not just on a
their planets
scale,
are gorgeous.
but to our
Yeah, there's some
detail.
issues here and there, but their planets are gorgeous. I will give them credit for that. Their planets are absolutely gorgeous. They're just barren,
With
empty,
Genesis,
and
we've made a complete paradigm shift.
I'm hoping that we one day get,
biomes are now
you know,
created
NPCs
based on the
wandering
physical
around
data
and
sets.
actual animals wandering around,
With
but
the
I
assets
think
being
we are a
spawned
very
whenever
long,
and wherever
long way
correct
from that.
criteria is found.
NPC
So
ships
when you
flying.
see a forest or a meadow, it's no longer because an artist painstakingly crafted it there.
You know,
It's now because it simply wants to be there.
we've been watching this at a shit resolution for
It
how long
fits
now?
inside our rules.
Let's show off how gorgeous these planets look, because these
Genesis
planets do
also
look
ties
gorgeous.
into our other gameplay systems. Our new planets are built from the information we create for our different datasets.
So I'm wondering
Like
if they're going to have
height,
to
humidity,
go back and
temperature,
redo
soil type,
Stanton
soil amounts,
and how long that's going to
geology
take, because
erosion data,
Stanton
to name but a few.
comparatively looks ugly.
This means you can now
Compared to
tell
what they're
where
doing
to
now.
find valuable minerals as the geology looks like it would be suitable
Put a
for
big
it.
bubble over Hurston.
Where scree piles exist below sheer
Sorry,
cliff faces,
please pardon the dust.
and where rocks have broken off.
We're
over time due to
renovating.
erosion.
We're renovating
Of course,
Hurston at this
these
point.
materials still give us the ability to direct the look and
I
feel
hope so,
we want.
ferrets, and welcome. I hope
The
so.
attention to detail, from the tallest mountain to the smallest flower, is still our core DNA. With Genesis,
Yes, I want
we
to drive
can
to a
now
spaceport
keep
too.
that detail-orientated
Or just
mindset
wake up at
as
the
we focus
spaceport.
on the quality, and it provides the quantity.
Or my hangar.
Genesis provides our planets with the ultimate sense of exploration and adventure, discovery in the purest emotional form.
And
We want
tactical.
you to find
If
that
it
perfect place
runs smooth,
with the
it's got to
planet
run
providing
smooth.
an abundant resource to harvest. This is a major part of what exploration is for us. We want that
I'm going to
feeling
stop it right
of
here.
finding
I really want exploration to be a thing, but there's really not an incentive to explore in Star Citizen as it is today. And I hope that changes. It really does need to change, because we should be allowed to explore. We should be exploring. And one of the things that I wish the people at CIG would stop doing is creating these new POIs or these new places to visit, and then going on and telling everybody that we've made this new thing and here it is, and basically give you the X, Y, and Z as to where it is. We should have to find it. You know, remember how monumental it was when somebody flew out to the middle of nowhere and found the wormholes to go to Pyro? I mean, that was huge. That was huge. But I hope they start doing things like that. And that also ties into the thing that was supposed to be you know, made available when they did Star Map 2.0, was the ability to create waypoints and sell waypoints, but we don't have that ability yet, and we need that availability of that feature so that we can share it with our friends, sell it to other people in the game, etc. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of mining and things like that. Sometimes it's cool to just sit back and relax and mine, which is why I liked rock mining, and occasionally jumping in the mole with like Pagan or a couple other people, Bindi, and hanging out in a mole and just shooting the shit and mining. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I do it occasionally just to chill out. The ability to find big clusters of, for example, Quantanium or whatever, or Janelite or something else, and being able to create map grids and sell them, or map coordinates and sell them off to other people for profit. I think that would be really, really, really cool. They were supposed to bake roads into the planets. And Pyro, when Pyro released, it was supposed to have Road Tech 1.0. But they didn't do it. I don't know why. They talked about it multiple times in ISCs and Star Citizen Lives, but there's no roads on Pyro. I don't understand why they did that. I like the new star map for one reason and one reason only, and that is the search function. That is the only highlight from 2.0 that I enjoy. It looks nice. It's basically putting lipstick on a pig. It still has the same issues as the old star map does. It's just got a facelift on it and a search bar, and I was hoping beyond all hope that we were going to get something way more intuitive, something that was going to fix the game trying to jump you into a planet or into the sun, which it still occasionally does, or losing your quantum markers halfway through. You know, when you've got to jump here to here to here to here, you get halfway through it and it's just gone, and you got to reset and redo it again. I was really hoping a lot of that stuff was going to go away. It hasn't. So I guess they need to go back and improve that.
A corner of the universe that you'll fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home.
We're going to go back to base building?
Now
we're getting base building?
Will to go deeper into what we have built that allows Genesis to realize our vision. As a reminder, some of the visuals you'll see will evolve and change as we continue our technological development and hone in on the final look for Nyx.
Our forces can't repel firepower of that magnitude.
So, in case it's not already clear,
sorry,
Genesis is our name for a group of technologies that are improving.
Wasn't it Star Trek's name for creating new life as well?
Finding those that we've already created and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect. I work on planet tech, so let's talk about how that's continued to evolve since our presentation last year. And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead and show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx.
Here's the thing I don't like about the way that they're doing base building, is that if you've bought a plot of land, you basically pay the minimum of taxes and you will always be protected. Nobody can ever kick in the doors to your base, which I don't like. That is a pay to win advantage. The token system where you have to, at least what they explained a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, the token system where you're going to have to, I think it was last year, where you're going to have to do things for the faction of the planet in order to maybe get a shield token system, and then for a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever they said, that you'll never be rated. Some of it I like the shield token system I like, but I'm not 100% sure if I like it. And then they need to do they really need to figure out how they're going to resolve base rating. Is it only going to be allowed certain hours of the day on certain servers? Is it going to be, full base raid online or offline base rating going to be available? How easy is it going to be to get things in and out of someone's base after you've taken it over, et cetera, et cetera? There's a lot of questions they need to answer before they do that. And the same thing goes into space stations, the player built space stations or the org built space stations. They have a lot of questions and a lot of game rules that they need to develop around it. So it's going to be a hot mess, especially for the Star Citizen Bobs. If it's a full raid system, I hate to say it, but the normal 90% of the Star Citizen player base is not going to be ready for the DayZ and the Rust guys and, the old Ark Survival guys to come into Star Citizen and start raiding the shit out of their bases. They're going to cry. They're going to whine. And of course, Star Citizen CIG will bend over backwards to protect them, just like they did with Tier 0 looting and cargo missions that you can't steal and sell the cargo anymore. Like they'll bobify it to no end.
So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx 3 is a gas giant, and I think it's blue. It's not going to surface. I don't really know.
At least he said he didn't know.
Nyx 2 is a yellow, toxic, It's got like this high pressure
So
atmosphere,
Aberdeen?
and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting
they got to stop with the
biomes
gas
for you to
giants
discover,
unless we can
but
cloud mine.
For now, just
that
know
was supposed to be
it's gonna
introduced.
dangerous, because
If I
today,
remember correctly,
we're gonna
that was
focus
supposed to be
on what
introduced
we consider to
when
be
the
the hero
Starfarer
planet
was
of this
introduced.
system.
But you know, the Starfarer can't even really do the fuel refueling like it was advertised.
Has got
So
a rugged, remote
just saying.
beauty. It's got a
And see, and that's the other thing. You know, I don't know if dude's still in here talking about how I hate the game all the time and I lie about it and all this other stuff, and I don't like the game loops, so why should I should shut up about it. I was one of those guys that was hoping Pyro was going to have no landing pads on any planet for you to refuel at, and the only places you could go were to the space stations, and this was back before they shrank Pyro from 19.2 AUs, I think it was at, down to, I think it's 13 or 14 AU. So you can fly all the way across it without having to worry about fuel, depending on the ship you're in, of course. I was hoping that they would fix the Starfarer and fuel rats would be in Pyro offering their services, and then we could have wars over the fuel rats. They could have escorts, and pirates could try to take their fuel, because I was hoping fuel was going to be a commodity that would be highly sought after. But you know, they kind of dropped the ball on that, and that had to, you know, that went away. And I really, you know, same with the solar flare. Solar flare went away. I was hoping ships would get disabled, and, you know, fuel rats and repair guys would have to come out and fix ships, similar to kind of like medical gameplay, the medical gameplay that doesn't really exist anymore. But I was kind of hoping that that was going to be the case. And I think Pyro would have been a lot of fun with the fuel rats, both going after them and protecting them, and fuel being a highly sought after commodity. And maybe you could bring your Starfarer in and sell it at Checkmate or Ruin or, you know, wherever. But you know, they missed a big opportunity there.
Diverse set of biomes, from weathered rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping forests and grasslands.
God, this just looks
and
so
from
good.
Damp expansive wetlands to claustrophobic festering swamps. These core biome concepts give us a fantastic platform to hone our technology. In some cases, because the current tech couldn't do them at all.
It would be so
or
cool if
because
there
we
was
want to
grease monkeys in the
completely
game,
step
Jim.
up our game for them.
Grease monkeys, fuel rats,
So
the whole thing.
Let's approach this planet,
you know,
in much the same
everybody's
way
like,
that
oh,
you
we
player
want
will,
role
orbit.
playing, and this whole game is role playing.
Orbit
But
appearance of the
there's all
planets
these
going
roles
forward
missing
is
out of the
far more
game
tied to
that,
what is present on the surface.
you know, one of them,
Previously,
for example,
we had different data that
fuel
drove
rats
the orbital and
is
ground
available in the
coloring.
game. It just doesn't
That's because
work
the orbit was
most of the time.
designed to look like vegetation
And
that
that
we'd place
should
on the
work.
surface.
And
the
Pyro
ground coloring
should
was trying to
be
be a mix
devoid
soil,
of fuel.
rock, and the organic compound coloring that forms the kind of colors there. Now we author much more of the data in a unified
Yeah,
way.
they are beautiful
When
empty
you look
planets.
At Earth, you see blues and greens for ocean and vegetation, and
we
brown
need,
or yellowy tones for sand and soil.
fauna.
We wanted to keep it
Active
as simple
fauna,
as that. The
active
same
NPCs.
set of textures and data that define the color
You know,
of the soil,
NPCs
sand,
that
and moss on the
leave-
ground are used to
You know, like in, you know, Red Dead Redemption, where NPCs actually leave town and go to another town, or bandits are spread throughout barren areas in between one major city and a smaller city, or two smaller cities, or villages, or whatever, or, you know, villages that are just absolutely against anybody even showing up there, you know, being hostile. But we need
if you would join us.
we need a lot of this stuff, and I don't know when we're going to get it. And like I said, I've said it a million times, these planets are absolutely fantastic, gorgeous, 5 out of 5. But we need more than fly to POI, pick up a cargo at landing pad, put in ship, fly from cargo pad or from landing pad on new planet to space station for delivery, or vice versa, flip it. There's got to be more than that. Or you took a mission, so now fly over here and kill the bad guys that you're going to kill, and then go to another POI to kill the bad guys that you're going to kill. What's up, Goodspeed? welcome. We need more, right? And a lot of that boils back all the way back down to 318 when Ghost Hollow got introduced, or maybe it was 319 when Ghost Hollow got introduced, and ships were supposed to fly in and out and unload NPCs, but they always got stuck in the back of the Cutlass, or one or two would make it off, and then they would just be stuck in a fighting pose right at the end of the ramp of the ship. I've heard they've brought it back, but it's to a designated area the same time, and it got a repeatable, knowable timer on it, so you could be like, oh, it's been 5 minutes, or it's been 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and 30 seconds the next ship is coming in, and you can just sit there with your grenade launcher or LMG and just wait for the door to open and shoot them.
Create the orbital look. We then assess the presence of vegetation and competition.
But yes,
between
we
different
need more
species
than just
on each part of the planet.
Go to
and use that to
POI
blend in
and do
tones of
said
green,
thing and leave.
including variations due to species health,
Player to
and the
NPC
current season.
trading.
This creates a far
NPC
more
mission
complete
givers,
image.
you know, dynamic mission
Allows you
giving.
to identify features,
My kid
geologies,
got
and
lost in the
potential points of
forest.
interest
Go find
all the way
him.
from
You know,
space.
I know that's super level 1
Let's go down to the surface
MMORPG
and
mission,
start with
but
something
you
closer
guys
to
know what
you're
I'm
used
talking
to,
about.
but in a whole new light.
You're running through the city, and my wife's ship got blown up in between here and there. Can you find her? Gives you 0 coordinates just between this village and that village, and you got to find it.
Surface of the planet.
Do a
We wanted to
rescue.
start by focusing
Use medical
on just
gameplay.
soil and
Use
rock.
gunplay.
One of the things
use
that was missing from
the
our
long
terrain
scan and the short
previously was
scan.
simply feature complexity.
You know,
Looking at our
combining all the
contemporaries, we
features
lacked
into a
detail
mission
at the ground
instead of
scale.
just go here,
To
shoot
combat
thing.
this,
Go
we
here,
added
pick
a
up
new
thing.
layer of data.
Go here, shoot thing.
That layer is called the medium tiles. These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based on slope, soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium
It looks
tiles
cool.
don't just create height changes, they also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock size values. And
Yes,
this gives us a whole
same
new level
Jim.
of terrain
Nothing was as
detail,
white knuckling
of
as knowing
scale,
that pirates
and
could be in
allows
the
us to create
area
far
when you're
more
doing
unique
something.
locations across the planet.
Because they want what you have,
So now
and
that
you
we've
got to
nailed the
fight to keep
surface,
it,
let's
or
have a
you
look
got to
at
play
adding
smart.
rocks. We've now
on how
got
you're flying
two
out of
major
there,
contributors to the
etc.
rock content of our planets.
But all of that
Firstly,
went away when they introduced
long-desired
cargo
feature,
missions.
Cliffs. We are adding large-scale, very detailed
those
to
look
all our
so
cliffs
good.
based on the geology at a
There's a
given
little
location.
bit of issue
This
right
adds
here,
an
but I
exciting
mean that's
new
so
dimension to
overlookable.
steep
It's, I mean
slopes
that's
that we
me
simply
nitpicking
couldn't
the
get
shit.
before.
But this looks great.
The second is a
Oh,
big
the
one
sex
for
eggs?
ground vehicle
Oh, man.
enthusiasts. Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilt popcorn at the cinema, but only in places you'd expect to find them, thanks
Same,
to a
Diz.
brand new
And that's
box.
the other thing too. They've discussed it for 2 years, and I've yet to see it happen. Elliot was talking about making modular missions, and some of the modules that were in those missions were like random events where you could get jumped, or ships would come in and attempt to stop you and things like that. And I don't think that's ever been fully added.
Scattering algorithm that isn't annoying as hell. Using physical data generated for
Now,
each large
my
and
only
medium
concern
tile,
is
now
how well
rock
is an
distribution
Ursa
makes
going to
sense
traverse
has a
this and flip
physical
over
basis.
and act like there's
So if
no
you're still
gravity or
crashing into
physics
them after this comes out,
involved?
that's on you.
I mean, they look good. Don't get me wrong; they look fantastic. But
The
how
rock assets
badly
themselves
is
are
ground
like low
vehicles
too.
going to go over this?
We now create rock sets related to a particular geology that look like they originated from the same source. And this ties into how we'll be distributing minables in much more interesting ways too.
I mean, that would also be cool instead of shooting little tiny nodes all the time with the rock
So now that
miner.
our base
Have
terrain
big
and
rocks
rock
that you have to
scattering
break
looks good,
down.
let's add some vegetations and explore some additional biomes. Next one's
There's an Ursa.
forests
I saw
and
it.
grasslands are full of trees, various grass species, rock formations.
I mean, this looks. I can't say it
And
enough.
they're
This
found in
looks
all sorts of elevations,
absolutely
like mountain
gorgeous.
valleys,
And they did this
plains,
right.
and dense
Trees
meadows.
growing where the water flows. They actually did this right.
And when we start to add a bit of fresh water, they begin transitioning into more wetland type biomes.
The swamps that they showed off last year at CittizenCon looked
And while forests
really
are super
cool.
cool, let's focus on the grasslands and wetlands today.
Spouse.
So,
Spouse.
how are we making these look so great? Obviously, we've had grass before, but never meadows of it. Because until now, we haven't been able to spawn grass in large enough quantities or effectively represented at distance.
That kind of sucks,
So we're stepping up our
last
game in
year,
terms of
for me,
spawning,
the only two
shaping,
enjoyable
and
parts through
shading
the
grass.
entire sitcon that they did
With
last year
Genesis, we now
was
leverage
base building
GPU
and the
spawning
social
to create
tools.
vast
That was it.
quantities of
And
assets
social
across
tools
all
is
biomes.
something that should have been in the game a long
Whether it
time
be
ago.
dense
And as I said
meadows,
earlier, those social
or
tools that
more
they showed
complex
off at
collections
last
of
year's
ground cover
sitcon,
like you can see in
I
these wetlands.
assumed that within 6 months-ish,
We are
they
also
would have
able to
that
fit our
most
grass
of that
tiles to the
introduced
ground
into
by
the game, and they have
conforming them
not
to
yet
the unique
introduced a
terrain
single thing of
underneath.
that into the
now
game.
we can finally
And
cover complex
I feel
terrain
that that
shapes
is
with grass
extremely
and ground cover
disappointing.
assets. And as a result,
Even
we
if
are
they
now
only got
gravity
50,
aligned,
60,
meaning
70%
each lane
of
is
the
oriented
social
as you'd
tools that they
expect,
talked
not
about
sticking out
in
like before.
CitizenCon 2024 into this year's build of Star Citizen, it would have been fantastic. It would have been
let's
game
take a look at
changing
how we light our
on how we
grass.
interacted with the
Now,
game, but
as in real life, the shading
it's not here,
of a
and
grass
I don't
blade,
know
or
why.
indeed a whole
And
field of
there's
grass,
not
is lit
really
very differently
they
to
can't
like a
really
flat
give me a good
surface.
excuse
We now
outside
use a
of, well,
solution
we
that
added
shapes
a worm
meadows of
and we
grass
added a
far
not
more
worm
like fur or hair.
snake.
And this, if you think about
And
it,
we
makes
added
sense. At a
onyx
distance, a field of
facilities.
grass is far more like a carpet or
Like,
cloth than a flat surface.
I'm sorry, but social tools
This
are far more
improves how our
important
grass looks from a near
in a
perspective,
sandbox
as well as
MMO
bringing us
than,
nicely
you
into how
know,
we're
shooting
solving
at
the
a
distant representation
theme
of
park
grass.
sandworm at
So,
the Lazarus
let's
thing
talk
that you
about
have
the
to do
distance
a ritual to summon.
One of our biggest achievements with Genesis is allowing us to
Social
build beautiful
tools
biomes out of flora
would have
and
been
geology assets like a
absolutely
building
game
set.
changing in my opinion.
Like,
it's
can I
not
say Lego?
flashy.
No.
It's not
Too late. But in the
pagan.
past,
What's up?
this broke down
It's not
very
flashy,
quickly when
it's
objects
not,
simply disappeared when viewing the same biome from 10,
you know,
20,
super
100 kilometers
cool.
away.
But it would have been game changing, in my opinion.
Because we don't hide planetary
if we would have gotten
transitions
social
and allow
tools.
you to view complex regions from very large distances.
And it would have been nice
there
if
are
they
almost
combined
infinite
social
perspectives
tools with
from which you can see a
Reputation
location of
2.0.
Star Citizen. So, how can we afford
But
to
I
evaluate
think we
complex
need
spawning
star
logic at
economy
runtime
before
with
we get
entire swathes of the planet?
the new Reputation.
Enter the virtual terrain. Virtual terrain, or VT for short, is how we now cache and represent our terrain at varying scales. This has been the enabler of all of the lovely advances in terrain complexity and asset spawning we've shown so far. And it's also how we now evaluate and represent vegetation from a distance.
Okay.
When creating the VT for each part of the terrain, we assess if vegetation has covered the ground, and if so, what shading should be applied. For all of our biomes,
so far,
we're now able to use the
none
same
of
shading
this-
model for the distant representation
Honestly,
as the close-up
this
asset,
is
whether that's our
basically
lovely
the same
rolling hills,
presentation as it was last year.
some more
It's just
dramatic rockscapes,
just presented differently.
those muggy wetlands, or even
But they showed
our
this
festering
last year.
swamps.
So, you know, Nyx and the
didn't
stories that
forget
they
about the
told.
swamps.
I mean,
And they're coming to Nyx one as well.
the stories are
They're
new
using
and
the
the
lessons
things that they
learned and all
talked
the
about
technologies
it
we've
being new,
developed.
but they
These
showed
swamps
Nyx
now
last year.
spring into
And they talked
existence
about
from the
they're
planetary
adding 5
data.
new systems.
This biome
or
combines all
4
of the elements from the
new
other
systems,
biomes we've shown you
Pyro,
today.
Nyx,
From water interaction, dense spawning, unique
Magnus,
ground
and
coverage.
Terra, right?
And I think it creates something really
So we kind of knew this was coming, but you know, I don't know. Like so far, this CitizenCon, as I called it, is very lackluster and
Anyway,
just a repeat
that's our update
of what we got
on the
last
Planet
year
Tech portion of
and
Genesis
the year before.
and how we're using it right now to sculpt the identity of Nyx One.
He looks
And I
like my
hope you're as
brother-in-law,
excited
just a
as we
lot
are to
thinner.
explore this and everything we haven't shared yet next year.
As you can see, Genesis is now inspiring
pagan.
everyone here to create planets of the quality and believability we've always
I mean,
strived for.
I said it earlier. If the planets
And
are going to
meeting
look
of
this good
technology
and they're
or
going to
not,
run
that I
this, and
truly
if they
believe
run this
will
good,
set our worlds
they're going to
apart
have to
from
redo
anything
Stanton.
we've done
There's no
before.
way around it. They're going to
And
have
with
to
that
redo
said,
Stanton.
let's move on to a little travel between systems, literally.
Wait, a Drake Cutlass 1.5? Are you fucking kidding me?
Up until now, all
The
mission
Cutlass was
systems
originally
have been
supposed to be the
specific
first
to the
modular
star
ship
system
they
you're
ever
in,
introduced to the
meaning
verse, and
a
instead
Stanton
they
mission
turned it into
has
3
to take
different
place in the
variants.
Stanton system, and a Pyro mission has to take place there.
I'm sure I'm going to be
We've
told told
never
I'm
been
lying
able
here
to link
again.
these together But with the introduction of our third star system, it's time for this to change. And that begins with the introduction of
they
interstellar
kind
cargo.
of hinted it. Well, I'd have to go back and rewatch, Jim, but I think they hinted. They didn't show it, but I think they hinted at it.
Holly was gone. He doesn't even play the game.
These are exactly what they say on the tin. Missions where you're going to start in, say, Stanton and end in Nix, taking various volumes of cargo between the stations. So there'll be high volumes of cargo.
So the same kind of gameplay we have in every other
series of
thing?
ships.
Okay, cool.
And there'll be a few sort of more direct routes.
So you might pick up some cargo from Ruin Station in Pyro and go through the jump point to Stanton and drop it off there at one of the
I mean, Pagan showed this off before.
So
this is the same gameplay as we have in
going through it. These missions will
the other
require
systems. Butthole Tech 1.0.
They're no way limited. You can do them
Enjoy
in
the
any sort of
colonoscopy,
ship you want, any
bitches.
size of ship. I'll be doing them in my Drake Cutter myself, between Stanton and Nix.
I mean...
Just the Drake Cutter.
I've got a few ships, but the Drake Cutter is really cute, so...
One thing that we're looking to add with these interstellar missions is scripted combat encounters where you can be attacked by NPC ships. Maybe the mission
Scripted
giver has
combat
tipped off
encounters.
some pirates who are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which
It needs
means
to be-
the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight, and you've got to learn to be very fast. All of the love and care that has gone into hauling missions so far, with the logistical network and making sure they make sense within the themes
and
of the systems, just as much love
I would
has
love
gone
that. Just make it
into the
stealable.
interstellar missions we're
Don't
making
make it so that if I steal it, it's considered stolen and I can't sell it anywhere, even at
At the start of
NQA
the show,
stations or
we said we're
Grim
going to build out the Nix system
Or Pyro.
right in front of you.
I should be
after
able to, if I
4.4
rip something
launches
off in
next month.
Stanton and
while
I
we
fly
want to
it through
keep
the
as much of
butthole
what we're doing behind closed doors
to Pyro,
so you can
I should be able to
discover
sell it.
yourself
Why can't I
in-game
sell
and
it?
on your own. We still are excited to share with you a brief look at one of our up-and-coming locations we're calling Rockcracker.
Pagan and Jim talking about space hemorrhoids now. Oh, that looks cool. That looks cool. That looks like something
so
space
Rockcracker,
engineering.
Jared, is our internal name.
Like we used,
Rockcracker is...
I played Space Engineers with Grumpy for a while, and we built this huge grinder pit, and we could just push things into it and grind it all up, and then it would auto sort all the components. It was so cool.
Is where
Just
you
had to be
have
careful so you
crack
didn't touch
a
your
rock.
ship to it. Otherwise, you'd grind your own ship.
It's a big rock. You want more?
So way out into the Keegar Belt, you'll find these old QV breaker stations.
QV break stations.
These were originally
I know, right?
industrial facilities breaking apart large
You can definitely
asteroids
tell that this was
mining
thrown
them
together
down.
for this presentation. I'm
Since
sorry,
they've
but
been
you
mothballed
can
and
tell.
been left abandoned. So you're going to have to find your way inside and thinking about how do we bring this facility back to life. It's not just about
I swear to fucking God, if they're like, remove a fuse and put a fuse back in, I'm gonna lose my shit.
flipping the switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be lighting the beacon and calling attention to these long forgotten places.
Look, I don't like jump space on a whole for the way the game plays and various other things. The way they did their power grid is pretty interesting. I'm not saying every game needs to replicate it, but it's a pretty interesting way of how they do their power grid on the ship. So when you're being attacked and you're the guy that has to run around putting out fires and repairing parts of the ship, and you got to fix the power grid so you have weapons or shields or engines or whatever. The way they did it is very interesting, and I'm not saying Star Citizen needs to replicate that, but this whole fuse thing, like, in America, I don't know where everybody here lives, but in the United States, we have not had fuses in 60 years. Like we've moved away from that. We have circuit breakers in the house. So if your fuse blows, you go out to your garage or to your basement where your circuit breaker is and flip it. It's just a switch. You just flip it and, you know, there you go. I don't understand why we're bringing 1950s tech to the year 2955. Like we should not be using fuses. There should be I thought when they said they were going to use pipeline, the old way that they built spaceships, and they were going to integrate it into engineering, I thought we were going to have to be like fixing wires and whatnot in paneling and whatnot, and like have fixie tools. Yes, I know beam technology. I'm getting tired of the beam technology, but at least it would be more interactive than old fuse. Put fuse in. Oh shit, this one's broke. Run across the ship. Open panel. Take fuse out. Put new fuse in. Like that. Come on, guys. Really?
One of the main features is the laser head, which will require certain things to get working.
No more pennies.
It's up to you and your friends to find.
Yeah, we were supposed to have space fires and space fire extinguishers and all of that.
Whether
we
you're
have yet to see that get in the
bowels
game.
of the station and mining your way through long-forgotten tunnels, or you're going through the main laser entrance.
And then your friend, the retard,
Now, as
turns on the
you're
laser and you
traversing
melt.
through the facility, you'll
But then you
find
just
the
respawn
old
on your
engine
ship
room.
with everything in your backpack and all your gear on.
Now, there may be ways to bring the facility
No
back to
consequences
life,
for dying. Welcome to
kickstart
Star
the
Citizen.
engines,
It was
and bring
always the
power to
plan.
different parts
Roll
of the facility.
Ursa commercial.
Maybe eventually bringing the laser back online and cracking some rocks.
The secondary gameplay
We only took away
FPS combat. You're not there by
respawning
yourself.
everywhere in
There may
3.15
be
to bring it back
squatters
in
and
3
outlaws
in
these stations
4.0.
trying to stop you from what you want to do.
Man, his arm is gonna fall off. Look at that. That's not what it looks like when you shoot. I know, I'm being nitpicky again, but still, it's not what it looks like. If your arm was moving that far when you were shooting, your guy would have dislocated
So you
shoulder.
found these old facilities. You've
after
brought
the
them
first
back
shot.
to life. You've systematically brought power to various functions of the
And they haven't told us how we were going to do it. I understand this is a work in progress and this is all generated specifically for this, but they I have a feeling it's going to be remove old fuse, put new fuse in, which is very disappointing to me.
facility. You've activated the laser.
Death Star
You've fired
online.
the laser.
You fire the laser.
You've broken apart the rock. And then you'll be able to fly your ship inside and see what's there.
So you fly a ship into an asteroid.
Yeah. You just get into your ship.
Who the fuck came up with this idea?
Searching around and trying to find the pieces that you want to mine.
So you turn on this whole facility and you're telling me the facility can't break down the rock that you just turned on and then sort it into boxes where you then, take the boxes and put them on your ship. You got to fly your mining ship in there and then mine the rock that you just turned on a mining laser to mine. The fuck are you guys doing? This is fucking idiotic. This is fucking idiotic.
I'm really excited about Rock Hacker because it's a sandbox activity. You can kind of go to these whenever you want to.
This content is for players who enjoy mining, who enjoy exploration, investigation.
Bring back Todd Pappy. This is a bunch of
And
retard
don't
shit.
mind a
I'm
little
sorry,
bit of
guys.
FPS content like
This
that.
is incredibly stupid. We have this advanced technology where you have giant lasers that crack these humongous geode-like rocks, but then you have to fly your ship inside of it to mine it. The fuck are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about? Oh, we didn't develop the laser technology as much as we thought we did. That is old laser technology, and we have not been able to redevelop it like windshield wipers in the PU. This is fucking
It will be
retarded.
very new experience compared to any other asteroid.
That's what I
because
would have
this
thought,
one,
Jim.
Kind of like Alan and mine, will crack open and show its secret.
And one presumes you can make a decent amount of scratch in an asteroid that's big enough you fly your spaceship into it.
It wouldn't be worth doing if you couldn't make a good amount of
Until they
coin.
nerf it for the next thing.
Making promises for the econ team.
Yeah. They've got to balance it.
It's for people who want
This is-
a lot
this
of
is-
minerals. When crafting
this
comes
is
in, when all the other
the epitome
mechanics
of
and
stupid.
features that we want in the game for 1.0 come in, it will be a place where like an organization or a group of like 5-6 people could come.
If you go through
and
all that work, just turn on a giant laser to
monumental
crack open
amount
a
of
big
minerals.
rock. Why not just bring an Idris there to fire its laser into it and crack the rock open?
So that's a look at some of what's coming over the next 12 months. In addition to what we've shown, there'll be new mission packs.
So Nix is coming next month, but it's not going to have everything. Here we go again, boys. Here we go again.
Tailored to the People's Alliance and their struggles. There'll be events that invest you into the evolving storyline of all 3 systems we'll have in the game. And of course, when we begin populating these with new planets, there'll be a whole host of ground-based POIs, settlements, and structures inhabited by those trying to make their way in the verse.
Inhabited
And
by
all of
those
this
walking
in
around
service of
mindlessly
building
saying the
star
same 5
systems
lines
that
over and over
complement the
again.
massive corporate yard of Stanton, the lawless ganking of Pyro, and now the new frontier of
Nobody is
discovery
even
for
in
the Nix
Pyro
system.
anymore.
Should I say ganking?
You already did.
Boo. So far this
Good
sitcom
job,
has
everyone.
sucked
So yeah,
testicles.
a whole lot to take in there. Interstellar hauling is the beginning of a
There's nothing
massive
to take in
expansion to
there,
the mission
Jared.
system that'll let us connect
Same
these
old
3 star
bullshit
systems
over
like
and
never
over
before.
again. We're releasing
What else
this.
we got? Rockcracker.
Not even half
Rockcracker is
done.
just one of the next operations that'll be coming to the Nix system in the first half of next year, where you're going to fly into an
Oh, it was
asteroid
next
and
month,
do
and
that
now
thing
it's
that
the
miners
first
love
half
more
of
than
next year.
anything else. Complain about
No,
PvP
Stanton still
getting in
doesn't
their
have
way.
everything. You're 100%.
No, I'm
You're
being
100%.
told it's mining. It's mining. And of course, one of the most anticipated features coming to Star Citizen, Genesis, and what that means for the planets
That
of
is
Star
not
Citizen,
anticipated. That's
including
just
the ones already in there.
eye candy.
So let's talk to Will Hain and find out more. And I'm just remembering that Will Hain is in France at the watch party. Okay, France. Ask Slarty Bartfast over there how they're going to use Genesis to update the planets and moons of Stanton and get back to me, all right? And see if we can get some fjords. What else we got?
Fjords.
The CitizenCon digital goodies pack. That's a hard thing to say. That went up for
Yes,
sale a
pay
couple
us
weeks ago and has a
for a
whole
good
bunch of
goodie
mysterious
pack that you
items in
can't
it.
even
And that's what I
participate in
can
our
tell you
event.
now that almost all of them are tied to the Nix system in one way or another. So let's find out what's actually in there. There's a gunship flight suit and helmet, 2 armor sets from that mysterious faction causing a ruckus with the Van Duel, and an Intersect BDU sweater and outfit, a couple of crazy weapons that I'm certain we're going to learn about in just a few minutes, some slick
That you'll
Levski
never
swag,
lose.
and finally, to celebrate the long-awaited addition of the Van Duel to Star Citizen, a cool Van Duel knife and adorable plushie, which I swear to love and squeeze and cherish forever. So yeah, it's a pretty solid haul for this year's digital goodies pack, which you can still pick up right now on the RSI
Gotta hawk
store.
that shit, guys.
So now,
Gotta
let's
hawk
go ahead
that
and
shit.
transition into our next segment.
$35
Much of what you
for a
see in
whole
the
lot
show
of shit.
today has been the culmination of a lot of people's work in... What's up? All right, I had a dream about like this once.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay,
fuck.
so against everyone's better judgment, the thing has finally happened. Can I help you?
How you think the show's going?
Good. We're getting the Nix star system and the Van Duel are coming.
Kind of been a lot of Nix, right?
Well, yeah, but it's a major milestone and it
What
deserves a
the
major
fuck?
showcase celebrating
Yeah,
everybody's hard work. And
You got more, right?
At least they didn't pay for
Oh, yeah,
puppets
there's
this time
spaceships
around.
Cool.
wow, it's like they only scanned the original community portion of me. If pictures steal your soul, imagine what face scanning and PCAP does.
Well, this has been super cringe.
Jesus
So I'm
Christ.
gonna head out.
Bye.
Oh, regular CitizenCon is still better. You should have done that.
Of course. Thank you.
Wow.
Part of me that isn't a soulless marketing puppet.
Thank God it wasn't an actual puppet this time.
No.
Complete with song.
No. Let's just go to some spaceships, shall we?
I'm sure I'm lying again.
Hi,
I have
my
to
name's
stop
John
telling
Crew. I'm the
lies.
vehicle director here at CIG, and
They
welcome
never
to
made a
Talking
puppet
Ship, where we're going to
of
talk
Jared
about
and
3 new
this
ships
fucker.
coming to the persistent universe.
Hey, John Crew, where's all the ships that you promised 7 years ago that have still not arrived? 7 years ago. 7 years ago, they asked him, did they, do you guys have plans to make them available soon? And he said, yes, they will all be available within the next couple of years. 7 years later, none of the ships are here. Well, the Idris. I'm sorry. I lied. Sorry. I got to stop.
The last year has been pretty hectic in terms of vehicle deliveries. I think we've delivered the most we've
Last year has been pretty hectic, reskinning a whole bunch of ships and selling them to you as a Mark II. Damn, that's a lot of hard fucking work.
ever done in a 12-month period, and we've covered all the way from tiny little snubs all the way up to capital ships.
We've kind of filled out a few little gaps. We've introduced some new ships by some old manufacturers.
Yeah, the Polaris come out. And
the Polaris and the Idris is the only two big wow factor ships they came out with last year. Everything else was an MK2, a variant of a variant.
It's been a busy year. It's
hey,
nice
there's long scan and short scan guy.
Catalog and some of the bigger ships again.
I think my favourite ship from the last year is a tie between the Wolf and the Golem.
Favourite ship in the last year? Probably the Wolf.
I feel like it's
the Golem was a good
I'm trying
ship.
to think of something else, but I really
as
like
much as I don't like mining, that was a very good ship for them to come out with.
Favourite. The Wolf, obviously a return of Kruger, a completely new aesthetic to the game.
The Wolf was,
the ship does look pretty, except it's big old dolphin dog hanging out the bottom of it.
We've not seen anything from a while, so
that needs to go.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Wolf.
The Golem, I think, is just an incredibly well-formed ship. It's
2 years,
a small
Jim, 2
package.
years.
It really
2 years.
just shows off that Drake aesthetic.
The Golem was a good ship. That was a good addition. I will admit that.
To perform a role.
I'm not a Bob,
do
but
really
that's,
like the
that was a
Zeus.
very needed
I think it
ship.
came out really well. It's kind of hard to pin down a
The
favourite, to be
Zeus is
honest,
so
because
hard to
we've
load
released,
to
a lot
fill
of
to the
cool
top.
ships.
Next year, we've got some super exciting ships coming up.
Not lame.
We're
shame.
Taking off a few big ones, which is good. We're gonna see again maybe some ships from some manufacturers that don't have that many in their lineup. There's a few big challenging ones starting, so they're good. A breadth
What,
of
like
ships,
the BMM?
should we say.
The three new ships
Astra?
we're going to introduce today all tie in some way to the primary
Endeavour?
factions fighting over the
The
Nukes
Orion?
system.
The Crucible?
We'll start with the People's
The Vulcan?
Alliance and Anvil Aerospace.
Guys, we're gonna get the Vulcan, or yeah, the Vulcan
Anvil
and the
is a very
Crucible,
military
the Endeavour and the Orion.
brand. It's been a brand that's in Star Citizen for a long time, fighting for lots of military contracts and
The
war,
Astra.
often up against Aegis, and to the point it actually
that's what we're
Aegis
getting,
in
guys.
the past. You will be familiar with a lot of their ships,
The
designs
Nautilus?
such as the Hornet and Lightning. Earlier this year, we introduced the Anvil Asgard, based on the Valkyrie chassis, which is an extremely popular offering. And this year, we're
So
bringing the concept
the-
ship we introduced last year, the Anvil Paladin, to life.
To Mark II of that,
The
and this
Paladin
is the Mark III.
is a gunship from Anvil Aerospace designed to support
Fucking
ground operations.
Spaceship
The gunship
commercials.
is a ship that's designed to sustain a sustained firefight while dealing a
Which
lot
is
of
why
damage,
we
also
nerfed the
taking
Redeemer for the
damage.
Paladin.
We don't have a lot of gunships in the game. They're true dedicated gunships. They are quite a tricky archetype to control in game without being too powerful. It's designed with a lot of firepower and high armor and health, but very low maneuverability.
It's multi-crew. It's just built purely for battle. It's got lots of armor, lots of guns, big guns.
It's got a very similar squat.
If I
kind of
remember
form to
when
the
they first
Valkyrie.
introduced it, it
kind of reminds
has
me of,
size
I guess,
5
like a pit bull
and 6
obviously a very menacing
guns,
silhouette.
4s on the side and size 5 or 6 on the top. I think 5.
in its stance.
And
It
the
feels
Redeemer
like it's
got
coming
nerfed
towards
because they
you
said a ship
when
of
it's
that
just sat
size shouldn't have
still. And I
size
think that's
5s.
something that helps with it feeling intimidating.
And
If we
the
swing
Redeemer's
around, following the ship
slightly
round
longer than
clockwise,
it, but that's
what you'll
wider.
see is the first of the side turrets.
But if I remember
If
correctly, those are
notice
size
the canopy,
4s,
you'll
and
see
the
there's
turret on
fairly
top is
thick
size
space
5,
between
and they
where
removed the
glass
size
is and
5s
whole
from the
exterior.
Redeemer.
That's because it has
And then made it
deployable
slower.
armor, which can
And
come
they
out
reduced
and give
its
you a little
armor.
bit more cover while you're actually attacking the target head on.
It's got these really nice kind of dual connected wings with the turrets out on the sides just to try and
Now, I haven't played in 6 months, but I do know that if you have full shields and you eat a missile straight nose on, the last time I was playing, the missile debris would go right through the shields, through your cockpit, and into the pilot. And something tells me that that's still going to happen, even with your little flappy thing.
give as much kind of range for those turrets as we can get.
Which is controlled by one of the 2 remote stations underneath the bridge. If we come around to the rear, you'll see a rail. Now that rail mounts the main turret of the ship, which is controlled by the co-pilot.
So you've got full 360 coverage underneath, full 360 coverage on top with it, and then the side turrets also have 360 coverage that way around and 180 out sideways. So really you have, between the turrets, pretty much 360 coverage in all directions.
Wow, they actually thought ahead for once.
One of the unique things about the Paladin is
This is gonna
all
get
the turrets
nerfed,
are remote
though.
and all the crew are located in this one central two-story room.
A lot of our other gunships, the crew gets scattered across the ship, but with the Paladin, you're all sat together with a nice, cool experience, so you can.
I mean, the interior does look cool.
You've got
exterior looks. I mean,
gunners underneath, and
I do like the exterior look. It still kind of looks like the Aliens jump ship
You've got this
or
really
drop
nice
ship.
kind of like
Does kind of look like that.
Down, kind of giving this lower coverage.
Close to mini blinds.
Glass floor just to keep the two connected. I think that really helps with the feeling that you're all working together and communicating.
That said, if you don't have the ability to fully crew a Paladin, you can still fly it and engage in combat solo.
Obviously not as good as if you have a full crew, but you can't always guarantee your friends are going to be online.
Now, here's the thing. Since those are remote turrets and they've been talking about the blades, the remote turret blades for so long, is that going to be something that we're going to be able to slave to the pilot? And then, you know, now it's the ultimate heavy fighter in the verse, because I still don't think that that's a good idea.
Solo ship, it's pretty capable of doing a variety of missions within Star Citizen. So if you want to run this ship solo, you can take on combat missions that, say, other heavy fighters like the Scorpius or other ships such as the Drake Cutlass could do.
That's probably not a good idea. And the Cutlass
Paladin, you enter into.
You mean the Corsair or the Cutlass? Because the Cutlass is paper thin.
Variety of suit lockers and weapon racks.
Yeah, for
in this
sure.
room.
Everything's very militaristic, stripped back, simple. It's a very functional space, but you'll find everything you need in there.
Is there a kitchen?
One of the improvements from the original concept is we've added a small dedicated cargo bay area, allowing you to store actual SCU crates. Forward of that is the route to the lower gunners, and then upstairs you have the bridge area, and then off that central area you have the
do have two
living
pads.
quarters, one on the left, one on the right.
But only one person can
log
out at a time.
Sort of
they got to fix that.
engineering area where the majority of the components are.
Those were supposed to be out this summer. They said so. They never lie. If TN was here, he would tell me I'm a liar. You know, those were supposed to be available in game this summer, and we were all going to have access to them. I mean, CIG, they don't make promises like that. They don't. You know, TN said they've never made any promises. So, you know, gotta, you know, yeah.
Also within the upper traversal area, you also have a little breakout area with seating, food machine, toilets, etc.
I think it's a very cool looking ship. I think we did a really nice job of taking what was there in the concept and adding an extra level of detail and trying to kind of push things forward.
I think it hits the nail in terms of a
never
really
would
solid
be. Never would be.
ship. It's really
That would go against
complementary to some of the other
everything they
ships
ever
around
said
the
in their
lineup. So it's
Kickstarter.
like the Valkyrie, where you've got this big drop ship. You know,
The Valkyrie and
Paladin's
Asgard
there
definitely,
just to
and
make sure
the
it's
Paladin
safe, make
all
sure no one
have
messes
that,
with you and
alien
just
dropship vibe.
basically scare people away.
The thing I like most, I think, about the Paladin is that it's very clearly got a crew of 4, and they all kind of work and operate under the
flight
same
suits look
conditions.
cool.
You know, the
Of course, if you have the zero G in them, you're dead because it's got an open face.
All equal on the ship. There's one toilet. Everyone's got the same style of bunk. When they're at work, everyone's at the front of the
I
ship.
really like
together.
those helmets, but if you
It's
try
really
to
odd
spacewalk,
to me
you're
that
dead
you
man.
call that. You like that there's one toilet for 4 people.
Well, you know, it's you all work together. You're all equal at work. You're
The toilet seat never gets cold.
Toilet seat never gets cold. Yeah.
Just hot
So
swap
that's the
down that
Admiral
toilet,
Paladin.
man.
Whilst originally a military-built craft, it's
I'll
the
warm
perfect
it up
ship
for you, Jim.
focused
I'll
on
go
the
first,
frontier,
okay?
trying to
I'll warm
defend
it up
against
for you.
threats. And talking of threats, let's move to our next ship, a replica from Hesperia. Hesperia are a high...
Guys, sitcom, we can't do live, you know, with people at it because we don't have enough money. So we're going to do a, what are we at, 35-minute ship commercial. So you guys buy more ships. Please buy more ships. We need more money.
And manufacturer, they specialize in recreating exotic and particularly alien spacecraft.
Effectively, what they're doing is they're remanufacturing them, making them a little bit more suitable for kind of human flight.
The tail lines are so cool. It's just too bad they're, you know, paper thin and terrible now. They used to be the king of the
They're
battlefield.
big, scary space aliens. They're like 7 foot tall.
I hope that
evil
that's the same
war
size
race
as the
that
Paladin.
Sort of take over, steal technology, absorb it, fuse it all together into their own needs.
They are the relatively nasty aliens that you sometimes hear about and haven't seen much of yet. They also make really cool spaceships.
The Stinger as a Vandal heavy fighter was reserved for their higher
I want to see how big it is compared to like a Vanguard.
High-ranking members within their clans.
Or a Scorpius.
The Stinger is a competitor to something like the FA or I guess the Scorpius.
Another heavy fighter to feed to the light fighter meta that still mostly exists.
Very, very tanky spacecraft.
Because you can just zoom and boom them, and they can't turn fast enough.
Unrivaled in terms of just both the number and the size of them. So it's there for players.
And it's got cannons, and it looks like 2 of them are bespoke, and you won't be able to remove. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. I shouldn't get too far ahead of myself.
One thing Xperia have done differently with the Stinger is they have done away with the majority of the bespoke weapons.
They heard everyone's complaints about the glaive and blade and have stripped off the original Vandal weapons to allow customization for standard human weapons.
With the exception of the single-size 5 gun.
Because it was too well integrated into the hull, even for Xperia to remove.
All the additional weapons are generic mounts, so they can be swapped with any of the existing lineup that we have in the game.
You know,
by doing this,
good job, CIG, good job.
To the end user,
good job.
and this is something Xperia wanted for the civilian market. For that one bespoke weapon, the size 5 plasma cannon, functionally it is the same as the existing size 5 plasma cannons on the Scythe and Glaive, but it is a sort of Gen 2 model and wraps it in a different aesthetic compared to those models. You'll see they're very much older Vandal styling. This is much newer Vandal styling.
Oh, that's
but
cool
underneath
looking.
it is
That
the
is
same
cool
weapon that
looking.
people have used for years.
I do like the animation to it. It does look cool.
Our job as the vehicle art team on the PU was to take.
I mean, the ship does look cool. I will say that it does look cool. I would never fly it. It doesn't seem like
an opportunity to take.
it's going to be
this really well-established art style. And,
something that you would fly alone into a combat zone without support.
Kind of hard surface, kind of rare alloyed kind of wings.
I mean, it could be a contractual thing, Pagan, but I'm not sure how they word that.
The ship together,
and I mean, that goes with open development. You know, I'm sure TN, if he's still here, will jump in and tell me I'm wrong. But that is supposed to be part of open development. If you're going to claim to be open and honest with the people that are supporting your game and paying your paycheck, you should not have a choice when it comes to if Jared says, hey, let's go, we're making a video about X thing, then you don't have a choice. You need to get up there and do a video about X thing that you're working on. And that also goes back to Yogi and his new Master Modes 2.0. You know, you can NDA as many people as you want. We paid for this to be open development. You need to be open and honest with us about what's going on with master modes. The thing is that they're doing this in an echo chamber so that they'll hear nothing but good, because they put master modes in Arena Commander and then they debuted it, and the entire time nobody liked master modes, or the vast majority of people did not like master modes. And even the polls show it, because the original poll that they came out with after they introduced master modes, it originally had a couple of questions about master modes, and then they redid the poll and those questions were removed. And once again, I could be called a liar again, but I have screenshots. I would have to dig through a lot of Discord messages to find them, but I have the original screenshots of the before and after they removed those master mode questions off of there. There was 2 of them, I believe. It was 2. I want to say it was 2 when they first came, that poll first came out, and it was the backlash was so negative to it that they removed those questions, and they keep coming out and telling us that it was the most positive thing they've ever done, and it's not the most positive thing they've ever done. Honestly, I would say the most positive thing they have ever done was when they did the payout in 3.17.2, at least for what I've been here, when they released Pyro, it was very positive. It was shit, and a lot of people were having a hard time getting into Pyro and or the patch that had Pyro. A lot of people loved it. And I will say, when the cargo hangars were first introduced, I will tell you I'm in the minority when I say I don't like those new cargo, or the new hangars, personal hangars, and I don't like the way cargo is handled. But initially, when it first came out, a lot of the, air quote bobs loved it. I think now that it's been a year and a half, I think those same bobs that love it, I'm pretty sure that a lot of them find it tedious and aggravating now. But you know, I'm once again, I'm only speaking from the few bobs that I know that are still moving cargo on a daily basis.
The thrusters in, it connects all the kind of underside of the vehicle.
I like that purplish
pulls the whole ship
hue
together.
that it has on the
How
inner
it's
ring.
very different from the Vandal ships that are currently in the PU. If you take, for example, the way the cockpits are constructed.
Up at the front, we've got this big kind of
They need to get rid of the. I hope they have. They don't have it all red. They probably showed it multiple times, and I just wasn't paying
It also
attention.
gives the pilot a unique
Purple is
position within
fine,
the
but
ship
all
and kind of
red
gives great visibility
is
up
terrible.
front.
Yes, okay, it's
Boarding
purple.
the Stinger
Thank God.
is a little unusual compared to other ships, obviously being alien in nature.
Now, hopefully, the red, like red holes on your target ship is easy to spot.
You know, lots
because
of
in the
organic
Blade, it's
detail,
awful. It's
rib
god awful
cages,
trying to figure out if
kind
a
of
ship is red hulled or
strange
not.
alien forms.
On entry of the cockpit, the seat
Oh, they
kind of
did,
comes down
Diz. They
towards
fought
you,
so
and you
hard.
kind of climb over the back of it a bit like a motorbike.
You're basically riding into the
Oh, that's
cockpit.
cool.
It feels very much like you're being like carried inside
That's cool.
the cockpit.
Unnecessary,
Into
but
the,
cool.
the traditional prone flying pose that Vandal pilots use.
Escaping that thing will be a pain in the ass when you get shot down.
Very happy with the Stinger. I think the team done a really good job of making something that feels
It looks
different.
cool.
It feels alien.
Looks like a bug.
But it suits our lineup
Looks
of
like a
ships. and
beetle.
It suits our universe.
I think the guys did a really good job.
Looks like one of those
of
flying beetles.
Respecting the, you know, the direction and vision from the original Stinger and Vandal ships in Squadron.
We've tried to take a lot of inspiration from movies.
Like I said, it
and other
looks
science
cool.
fiction material,
I'll
but
probably
I think
never fly
sits
it.
well within the Star Citizen universe.
I think there's probably
So we
going to be
have
better
Paladin
ships to do the
for
same
People's
thing.
Alliance.
I think the
We
Paladin will be a crew
the
Paladin will
Stinger
be better than
for
that.
people that really like Vandal and want to try and pretend to be them. But what about the other mysterious faction we have running around?
Oh, we're on
So
our
Gray
court.
Chowdhury got his start as he was working a cargo center out in Odin. He started being able to get his hands on some stuff that other people
Indiana
couldn't.
Jones is in game.
Items that necessarily you couldn't find on a store shelf, but you wanted anyway.
I think Gray
JT,
is
you're
interested
the man.
in, you know, happy customers. You know, Gray just sees themselves as a conduit to get these things in the hands of people who are would appreciate them.
And I think that his latest offering is really going to turn some heads.
So the Shiv, well, we don't really know what it is, if I'm, to be fair.
It's what happens when someone who is a genius at
The Romulans.
aeronautics and ship assembly
Wait a second.
is given free rein to do whatever they want. It's the best of whatever they can find lying around, put together to make something truly unique, wonderful, arguably beautiful, and just released out into the universe to see what happens.
At first glance at the exterior of the Shiv, I think most people will probably recognize.
Guys, I remember when they came out with the Hornet Mark II, and I made the joke that they were going to come out with a Cutlass MK2. They really fucking did it. They really did it. 3 Cutlasses aren't enough. We got to make a 4th one and make it look like a fighter. And people are going to take this out expecting it to be a fighter, and it's going to fucking implode on them because it's a Drake.
There is more than a fair proportion of the Cutlass visible there, but it's had quite a few changes to it.
As you look a little bit closer, you'll start to pick out elements from other ships. You've got, you know, main thrusters that are from the Valkyrie.
Even the bits that are obviously a Cutlass have had panels welded on, panels removed. The top turret, which is now remote, is just this hodgepodge amalgamation with multiple other ships' turrets. And then the changes continue onto the inside where, again,
I swear to God, they're going to sell this for almost $300. They're going to sell this for $300.
Crusader ships just integrated into the wall instead of what was
Honestly,
there
I think
originally.
somewhere between $230 and $300. Yeah, maybe $270. $230 to $270. That's how much it's going to go for.
Is it's gained vision.
And we still don't have functionality of the cryo chambers in the Cuddy Blue. I don't know about now if the Cuddy Blue's QED has been fixed, so you don't have to look up in the upper right-hand corner for the button that's actually down here. Like, oh my God. It's $150. I mean, Still too much money, in my opinion. I don't think any of these ships should cost more than $20, but that's just me.
Usually, more powerful thrusters.
This is
game's a really kind of nice set of belly thrusters. It's upped its firepower.
As ever, with the refined work from Gray's Market, you can see that great care was taken to the health and safety to ensure that there's no trip hazards anywhere.
There's like loose cables, panels are exposed. If you look carefully, you'll notice there are like tools laying around in the cockpit.
It's going to toilet. Bucket.
Yeah, it's one for doing stuff, and then you need a second one to wash your hands. It's not an animal.
It has very much taken that ethos of Drake and moved it down a level, which I think is quite an achievement.
Just look at this thing. How do you even begin to describe the madness that created this? It's the Shiv.
This is something new and different for Star Citizen. Where did it come from?
I'm not going to answer that.
Just nothing. Just
no comment.
AKA, we couldn't figure out how to make some of the older ships, so we just did this one because we need to do something and make money off of it.
Gray goes to places and talks to people. I mean, you know, there are just many ways to find these things that, you know, I mean...
How much is the Paladin?
Are they legitimate, you know, manufacturers? No. Are they operating on the right side of the law? Maybe not, but, you know, money's money.
Does Gray have a motto, an ethos to live by?
It probably comes down to, don't ask where I got it, don't ask how we got it.
Don't worry about it. Just ask if you want it.
I think the Shiv is for someone that is looking for something a bit different, a bit away from the norm, that just wants something that's unique.
It's definitely for people who like a rustic aesthetic.
It's a fun ship, but it's also really
I'm gonna
strong,
get
to be
sick.
honest. And it's absolutely
I'm gonna
a
get
statement.
sick.
I'm
This is
happy
an
with the three ship offerings.
SQ42
They're
asset. Are
obviously
you
very
fucking
combat heavy.
kidding me?
There's something we wouldn't normally
How much is
release all
the
at once, but honestly, all of them are
Vandal
different
ship?
statement. They're all cool.
What I forget what
As
they
always,
called it.
super excited to release these ships into the
The
game to
Vandal
see how players
stripper.
react.
I don't remember what
and
it
play with
was
them.
called.
It's always fun to see the quirks and the shenanigans that people get up to with them. So that's talking ship for another year. So,
Yeah, you can do the thing with Lexi. Talking weapons.
So I've just been informed that we have to do a bit of a timeshare agreement this year. So we have to throw it over to Alexi for Talking Weapons, which is an extremely original name.
And let me guess, these guns are already available in the pledge store too.
I'm talking about the new edition that come out in October.
He's Russian, so obviously he knows weapons.
Essentially, the weapons that does not
kidding,
have a
guys.
manufacturer.
I'm just kidding.
The weapons that you can think of that were made by space pirates.
Gray sells whatever he can sell.
Sometimes he gets his hands on some weapons that come from unknown origins.
He will sell things that no company in their right mind
$315
would
for the
ever
Vandal
make.
stripper.
These are the
I
most
mean,
kind of like scrappy and taped together and the
For
most kind of like
$315, I think I could have a good job at a strip club, or
Right
good
now
night
we're
at a
releasing
strip club
3
and have
new
more fun with
weapons.
it than
Rocket launcher,
buying a spaceship
the LMG,
in a game that
and
works
the
sometimes.
long-awaited Space AK.
Just because you put duct tape on it doesn't make it a space
this
AK.
is the one that not only is the most in demand, but I've been politely badgered about the most. It's a fun rifle that basically fires energy and ballistic in sequence. So your first shot will be your ballistic, your second shot will be the energy. You'll see on the top of the art, there is a bolt that cycles the rounds, and that goes off with the ballistic shot, but it does not go off with the energy shot. And that is just like a really fun way of making a weapon work in kind of like a scrappy, glued together kind of aesthetic. The LMG, this thing
Why the
is
fuck
a
am I
really
watching
fun,
this? This is
slow-firing, hard-hitting beast.
It will bring the 50
Let's make a
cal,
ballistic
and there are
energy
only other
weapon
weapons that have
and
this right
combine
now
it,
in the verse
'cause
are the
that's-
bearing
that's-
sniper rifle
that's
and
cool.
decoder.
Honestly, if you even get hit by one, you just instant tier 1 injury back to medical.
Are you even trying anymore?
You know what? We made all these really complicated fancy guns, and some people just want, I want a slow firing rifle. Give me a scrap together box that fires the biggest thing you can possibly find.
We don't have a rocket launcher of this caliber. It will be 3 grenades straight together that you pull into the tube and fire towards your enemies. The cool part about it will have an arming distance, so you will not be able to just point it towards an enemy.
It's also going to have a lot of spread. So essentially, you're going to have to get very close with your launcher to be able to blow up ships with a single payload in it. You can't actually aim with the apparatus because you...
So it's stronger than a railgun? 3 grenades are stronger than a railgun? What the fuck are we doing? The fuck are we doing?
You've got the tube on your shoulder, and you try to aim it, you'd have to physically put the tube in your head. So we were like, oh, we can't have an aiming apparatus for this. And then we realized, like, it's in the spirit of being a tube that you can't use the aiming apparatus, and you just kind of like, all right, I think that's the middle of the screen, I'm gonna hit it.
It's in the spirit of being a tube.
Are we gonna talk about binoculars? Binoculars are really cool. We don't have anything like this in the verse. And
there better be fucking scope glint on these binoculars.
To use something that's dedicated to look for the things.
There better be scope glint on these binoculars.
Instead of using your sniper scope, for example.
Will the binoculars have glint?
I'm not aware of this one. Probably not, because binoculars are not something that you need to be aware of.
It's really fun.
Yes, they are. I need to be aware if somebody is looking at me. One can't have glint and the other one does.
Because obviously, due to Glintgate, as you know, I beautifully internally call it, basically there was a lot of community feedback basically saying like, oh, I really like spotting people. I really like playing a spotter. And essentially I was like, oh, this community wants to be able to spot people from distances.
Stay a while and listen.
What can we make gadget-wise that doesn't require new features? And it was like, binoculars. And I prototyped a thing which essentially was just a scope in a hand, and it worked. So we've got some really cool binoculars coming.
Wait, it doesn't go through your head like that new gun they added?
And how much damage do the binoculars do?
Or was it a skin?
Depends on how you throw them.
Thanks, Alexei and Zach. That's the end of this segment for this year. So that's talking ship and weapons, unless anyone else is going to come and tell me something else. It's been an exciting year, and I think the next year of ships is going to be even more exciting and expansive than this year.
I'm actually feeling my brain cells dying in my head. They're like trying to jump out my ear to commit suicide right now.
Well.
So they spent millions of dollars on this theater so they can do CitizenCon here?
Ships for the verse.
Is that what they're doing?
Available right now up on the robertsspaceindustries.com store.
Of course, it's for sale right now. We need more money.
There's going to be a PTU drop that includes all 3, so you can fly
the spotter needs to be balanced with Clint. I agree.
Next week when Alpha 432 goes live. 3 combat ships. I wonder if they'll have any additional uses coming up later in the show. That's a hint. All right, what else can I show?
How much more time do we got in this?
There's merch. We've
About
got these
50
cool
minutes.
new Levski desk mat things. These are always popular.
$75 for a $25 mat.
Store, and of course, love them or hate them, but you can't avoid them. There's this cool new Wickelow's Emporium t-shirt. Yeah. There's also a page published earlier.
Hey, I don't know if, well, I won't mention his name. So remember a year ago when Jared was wearing the Squadron 42 bomber jacket? One of the people that visited here bought that, and I just want you to know that they just received that maybe about 3 weeks ago. They bought it for $280 plus, and they just received it 2-3 weeks ago. A year ago they bought it. Almost exactly a year ago. That's how long it took for him to get that bomber jacket to him. Once again, I'm sure if TN was in here, he would tell me I'm lying. I've lied this whole time about everything Star Citizen. All I do is tell lies. But you know, just letting you guys know, if you buy something immediately that is shown at CitizenCon, as far as their apparel goes, you could be waiting for a while.
Today with a bunch of links to offerings
Yeah,
from
we
our
gotta shill out
partners,
everything, Brian.
from eye trackers to
I'm telling you,
gaming
I think they're
chairs
in
to
financial
voice packs
trouble.
to spaceship
I really
models
do
from
think
new
they're in
partners
financial trouble.
like Planet Ring and Pigeon Spaceport.
I also think that a lot of the times when they show us the little colored graphs of, you know, how much money was spent this year, I have a feeling they're including melted ships. So if I melt a ship to buy a ship, I do believe they're including that, because there's no way.
And more. You can find all of that on the RSI website as well. And what else can I show?
No, it actually did match. He put up pictures on Discord, and it looks gorgeous. It's a gorgeous bomber jacket, and it looks exactly like from SitCon. It just took a year.
Coins? There's these lovely Levski-themed challenge coins if you're attending one of the 9 official watch parties around the world. There's also a digital one of these in the goodies pack, so you check those out.
The digital challenge coin. It fills my pocket so nicely.
Coin. All right, what else can I show?
It's a gorgeous bomber jacket, I will say that. And I would like it, but I'm not paying $300 for a bomber jacket.
Where we are. Simon, can we move?
I'll just buy a WW2 one from the military surplus. Hey, don't show them together.
Hi, how you doing? That was my best angle. Hey, I gotta be careful. Last year I took 3 steps and tore a muscle. All right, so this
is that's right. Last SitCon he tore his calf muscle, I think it was.
That's
he was walking up the steps or walking down the steps, and he tore his calf muscle.
And if you get here early enough, croissants, if the weapons team hasn't stolen all of them. Over here, we got some cool mannequins representing different aspects of the game. You got
all money that you guys paid. This is all your backer money going to good use.
Over there.
We got to decorate.
Come over.
We got to decorate. We got to pay all this money for this shit.
Tyler. PC.
Oh yeah, the puppet that they spent a lot of money on.
Voyager bar here. This is where we get all kinds of breakfast goodies, coffee, stuff like that. Hey, who remembers the big coffee controversy of 2016? You want to see what next year's big controversy is? Check this out. I'm gonna come over here. Do devs?
This is all this you paid for. Instead of getting features in game, you're paying for them to drink on the job.
Business. All right, let's see. Let's go over here.
Is it really the lunchroom?
Because
if it's the lunchroom, that's okay. Is it overly decorated for a lunchroom? Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, competition winners. Remember the competition for the?
I work at a Fortune 500 company that has billions upon billions of dollars of profit every year. And our lunchroom, our conference rooms, our lunch rooms, the VIP areas in our facility don't look anywhere near this good. And my company makes billions of dollars a year. These guys made $1 billion over 14 years, and they're paying for this kind of luxury. Nah, man, nah, no. I'm sorry, but no. Our lunchroom is bare bones. We have a cafeteria, but it doesn't look anything like this. It does not look anything like this. We got a couple of soda machines, coolers, you get what's on the lunch menu for that day, and that's it. That's it. And you're paying for it. It's not like the company is paying for it. You're paying for it.
CitizenCon winners, the people made the videos, and saved me pizza. All right, so we got, you guys saved me a lot of pizza. Let's see, find them.
What is this?
So I have now cracked my way into our next. Can we fire up the FPS crafting segment while I try to chew the?
Finally. I mean, if that's really the lunchroom, great. But like I said, that's way over the top. As I said, I work for a Fortune 500 company, and it makes billions of dollars a year, and we don't have shit that nice.
Tackle the universe in whatever ways you want.
And we're not scamming people.
But that doesn't mean we can't shape parts of the universe.
We're not scamming people out of money to be like, sorry, the thing that our company makes, we can't give to you this year because it's still in concept.
here and there to better suit our needs. That goes for both you and us. Let's start this part of the show with a look at how crafting is going to change everything
guys'
from
money
resource
so that we
gathering,
can sit
refining,
here in
and even
this
combat
chair
when it comes online
and sell
in the
you more
next few
shit that is probably not going to be in the game.
First version of crafting is going to be quite small in scale. We're going to use it as a kind of a concentrated effort to allow the players to experience the initial UI, the flow of gathering materials of different quality, and using those to craft items which are better than what they have currently in the game.
The first version is going to be primarily FPS items that you can craft, weapons and armor.
That helmet's cool.
For Star Citizen, crafting is our primary progression mechanic. Star Citizen isn't your standard MMO. We don't have levels. We have ships, we have gear, we have things that you create in the world, you perfect, you research, you improve. And those items,
I mean, this could be big,
ships,
but
those vehicles, the armor and weapons, that's how you progress in Star Citizen.
That's the only progression you have in Star Citizen.
Crafting isn't
ships.
just a progression mechanic for creating new items. It's also a fundamental change to how we handle resources in the game. The materials that you collect,
definitely is,
how you refine them, quality matters.
Crafting the weapons, you'll be able to have some quality materials to influence the item stats on those weapons.
It'll be somewhat random, potentially weighted on the location of the material. Some will have a higher chance of higher quality. And once you take those materials to your crafting bench, the fabricator, you can use them to craft, and the different attributes will be increased based on the quality of the materials you use. It's not just iron ore anymore, it's iron ore of the quality that you know will get you the stats for the item that you desire. And it's not just mining, it's essentially every resource we can get our hands on.
To support this, we also need major changes to inventory so that all of these new resources that you...
We need... Oh, God. That looks worse than before! "35 years inventory has been in video games, and these guys cannot seem to fucking make a functional inventory." And remember 2 years ago when they introduced the new inventory system that nobody uses because it's shit, I was like, oh, this could be great. And then it turned out to be absolute shit.
Collecting, you can see what you have, you can order it better, you can
This looks like
understand what
garbage.
you have in your inventory.
We won't
I
have
get it that it's
the new
internal, but that
refining
looks like garbage.
crafting system yet. We'll be using the existing ones. Those will pass the quality through into the refined materials, which you can then take to your crafting machine and start making your personal items. Once you have your blueprint and your quality materials that you've refined, then you can put them together on the item fabricator. This will be pretty much what we showed in last year's CitizenCon, with the UI letting you assign your quality resource.
Any other game, you could just dump the resources into a box or into your inventory. I don't mean your personal inventory. Well, you can do it on your personal inventory too. Yeah, on your personal inventory or in your bases inventory, and you can just walk up to the manufacturing machine or the crafting bench and push a button and be like, yeah, I want to craft this gun, I want to craft this armor, I want to craft this survival device. And this, I'm gonna have to. It seems like they're showing I'm going to have to beam a box with refined iron ore into my manufacturing device before I can use it. The level of retardism in this company is absolutely fucking mind-boggling. I hope that it does not stay this way and that this is just them working through some things. I should be able to put shit on my inventory or on one of the elevators or in my base's inventory or on my person's inventory, walk up to the crafting bench, hit a button, make said fucking thing, and be done with it. If I'm going to have to beam boxes into a manufacturing bench, the level of retardation is high with this one.
To different aspects of the item. Once you're happy with what you see on the preview, you'll be able to click to craft, and it'll get queued up, and your result will be produced.
You have to put
later.
the thing in the box to then push the button
You'll
to
be
get
able
the thing out of the box.
The new crafting machine from shops in most landing zones. You'll be able to bring it up on your freight elevator and use it in your personal hangar, or tractor beam it around and stick it on a ship if you want to use it from there.
Oh my God.
There'll be a small amount of blueprints.
Not only do they fuck up
credited to
inventory,
your
they fuck up
account
crafting.
Just to test and mess around, but the vast majority of them will be earned through missions, and then you can use that blueprint to craft the item that it is that you've got the blueprint for. So it should be a good reason to go and test all the different various missions in the game.
The advantage of crafting your own items is that they'll be better than anything that you could buy from shops. You'll be able to increase and improve item stats that are relevant to your gameplay. Maybe a gun will shoot faster, maybe it'll do some more damage,
You're not wrong.
or
You're not
your
wrong.
armor will have greater resistances against environmental effects or incoming fire. You might be wondering, what about the upgrade and research? That will be coming in a subsequent release. We're happy with this initial scope.
Because you can't just put it all
It's gonna
together
be so
and make sure it works
valuable
before you
for
give it to us.
as devs to kind of get the metrics in, get the feedback in, because then we can make the change.
You don't like feedback. You don't like feedback. And when we give you feedback, we get banned on Spectrum. We get banned by the White Knights on Reddit. We get banned in Twitch and on YouTube from you guys because you don't like the criticism. When we tell you it sucks, you take away the feedback, you ban us, you silence us, and then you listen to all the White Knights and the yes men and go, this is what we want. And then when everybody bitches that it sucks, you just shrug and go, well, nobody told us.
Changes that, you know, they only become obvious, so to speak, when you have kind of
That's what's going to happen, Jim. You're going to be able to buy these on the pledge store.
It. So I'm very excited to get it out in the wild.
It's our intention to get crafting out on tech preview by the end of the year and get the testing we need so we can release it when it's ready.
Love that guy's hair.
So that's
And the
one
chops.
way you'll be
Chops are
crafting
amazing.
your own experiences in the Star Citizen
No, base
universe.
building is going to be a bunch
But
of
what about
prefab
us?
things that you just drop
Where
down.
do we get
Wait
to
for a
hone in
timer and
craft
then it'll be
a
built.
bespoke experience here and there, specifically tailored to individual or small group play? Well, that's where instancing comes in. And I'm going to let Benji tell you a little bit more. We're bringing instancing to Star Citizen.
We spent fucking God knows how much money on dynamic server meshing so that all of you guys can play together, only for us to introduce instancing. Instancing. Are you fucking kidding me? Instancing should be in areas where new players are playing, not out in the wide open verse.
In 2026. Why are we doing it, and how will it work?
Yeah, Benoit, tell us.
So if you've played any content in 2025 in Star Citizen, you know that most of these areas were in actual PvP zones where other players could interfere. Instancing is a means to create an environment where designers can create tailored content that's tuned to a specific group size, but it is also protected from outside interference. It's not to say that we don't love PvP. I'm a PvP guy.
No, you're not.
PvP me, bro.
No, you're not.
But like most MMOs, a good balance between a dangerous overworld and a protected instances is needed. Right now, we don't have this ability, and this is something we really need in order to give you a sense of progression that is tailored and balanced to a tunable amount of groups, so the difficulty matches the group size. There's a beginning and an end. It doesn't mean that that doesn't fit in our overworld strategy, meaning getting to the instance is dangerous, exiting the instance is dangerous, or can be interfered with others. But at least when you're playing the content, we can actually make something that's curated for one experience. So before anybody says this is only a PvE thing, this
It's a
technology can
PvE
also be
thing.
applied to unlock curated PvP experiences that are as seamless as the PvE ones. So it's not about one thing or the other. It's really about unlocking developers' ability to create curated content. So that said, how will it work? Instancing is really an evolution over static to dynamic meshing. We want your instances to be as seamless as your instance hangars, meaning that when you take an elevator, you exit the elevator, you're inside the instance. A gateway opens, you cross that gateway, you're now into your instances. Could be also a quantum jump into an instance that you don't even see. The transition is just like a dynamic mesh transition.
This is awful.
And so throughout the universe,
This is
we will be able
absolutely
to add these
awful.
areas that are open or closed instances that allow you to join in either with a
How
party
much
and have a
longer of
reserved
this?
instance for your party.
My brain
or
is dying.
Join an open instances that has a number of slots. And so some of those areas will be completely instanced on different servers. This allows us to leverage
You're
the compute power of the
100%,
entire mesh.
Diz,
The closed ones will
100%.
be really to drive one piece of content. You enter and exit seamlessly, just like
Yeah, instead of creating these god-awful guns and instancing, why don't you figure out what the fuck is wrong with your server meshing and dynamic server meshing and figure out what the fuck to do to create AI policemen like you said you have been working on for years and years and years and years. If people are going to bitch about getting PvP'd, then make Stanton a medium security area. Make Pyro a outlaw area. Make Terra or Magnus the high security. Don't give us this shit. Please create the features that you have talked about and promised and whatever else in this game instead of cutting off half the player base, because that's what you're doing. And then you're going to bitch that nobody is doing the other events that you created. And yeah, like that's what's going to happen.
we do with your instance hangers currently. Let's go and find out what one of our first instances will be.
Siege of Arisen was an event we did previously, which created a gameplay scenario where the player had to run through and progress through contested islands of Arisen. This was a high-paced, high-intensity event, but it struggled a little bit from its technical execution. But now with the introduction of instancing,
a little bit from
it gives us an opportunity to evolve it and modify it.
I guarantee you it's going to be a lag fest like it was before.
A small group
Desync.
To work through that activity.
Fucking
It
NPCs
is an event that I had
this,
the honor of
stuttering across
pretty
your
much
screen.
solely designing and
If it's
building
not,
all
I'll
of
take
the
it back,
logic
but
and
I
having
don't
the
think it
stress
will.
of trying to get it working.
Agent Dooley from the CDF puts the call out for volunteers because basically the Nine Tails have taken over sort of a cluster of floating platforms in Orison.
And you are there to kill these sort of lieutenants of this terrorist organization and take back control. So in our current thinking, Siege of Arison is designed for about 15 to 20 people fire team. So you, your friends, or your org will go in, you'll all have sort of dedicated roles. Some of you might be the tank who brings in the heavy weapons and sort of pulls the fire.
You know you can fight
Some of you might sit at the back and be
can't
the
fight
sniper
players.
and pick people off who are a bit further to make the advance easier. Some of you will be the medic who sole job is going to be revive and look after the rest of your team and the health of them.
Go get them, Med Runners.
Some of you will be the people who push for the objectives to try and get sort of most of the mission done. The event was designed for about 15 to 30 people, but when we released it,
They
we
work
fixed
so
the
well
problem
until
with
you're like 9,000
two
in line.
DGSs on one server.
And there's
there was
only 2
5
people at the
resources.
station.
And with that, we also upped the player count to 100. So
Oh, yeah,
when it first
I agree,
debuted,
Diz.
it was already too full for what it was designed for.
It was a massive.
So remember when they said they were going to be creating these events where tens of thousands of players could show up and participate in these events, and now here they are instancing them, and they're going to wall them off after X amount of players, so that way oh my god, I don't need to say anymore.
Operation at the time. I think that bringing it back and giving it
There'll
a
be
refresher
tens of thousands
will
of players
be
at an event
a fantastic
location,
addition
and they'll all
back
be able
into
to
the
participate, and it's
So
going to be
imagine
amazing.
if Siege was a instance
4 years later,
that you
we
could
gotta
go in and
instance
play
it.
solo.
Can't
Or
handle it.
If it was a public
Gotta
event
instance it.
that you could go with your friends, or you could join up with random players on the server. There's lots of ways that we want to take a look at Siege, how we can make it a more approachable piece of content.
AKA, we can't make it
I'm
work.
excited to say the least.
We can't
to bring
make it
back
work
Siege
with
of Arison,
10,000
2-star
players like we said we wanted
to. Sort
to.
of have it be one of the first tests.
So we
got
gotta
to
dumb it down,
instancing and
like
really
everything
get
else
it
in this
back to
game.
sort of a core experience point where it should be.
Dumb it down
so
to
while the next season is quite heavily focused on
players
nukes,
that don't want to
I'm
lose.
Also very happy that we're not really ignoring our other 2 systems of Standard and Pyro, and we're going back there and we're sort of improving and expanding on the player's life in those 2 systems.
Where's distribution center rating? That was promised 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Where's that at? That's never even been added. When are we going to get that?
And while things like Genesis, interstellar hauling, crafting, Siege of Origin, and more will reveal next year, will continue to bring life into the existing universe outside of Nyx, there's still one more exciting use for instancing we're building right now. It's an early look to normal, and some of it is still in white box, but we're excited to share the first look at a major content release of 2026 and what it means for progression-based gameplay. As an evolution of our building interior initiative,
it's going to be 1.0.
You won't discover it by accident, because when it's complete, it will be found deep within the heart of Levski itself. This is the Municipal Works. So inside the facility, you'll find huge vaporization chambers, old processing plants, industrial tunnels, and eventually into the old turbines, which are still pumping heat into the old rock.
So this is the true story.
Now, is this open world or is this instance? Because now I'm going to have to ask all the time. Is this open world or instance?
It's the pure basis of Levski. You will have, of course,
12 to 18 months. It hasn't been 12 to 18 months. It's been 12 months, but it hasn't been 18 months yet.
You will also see a lot of rock and cave. So it's not a place you go.
I'm telling you right now, they're going to blow the Squadron 42 release date.
You go to,
and I think the Colders are going to pull their money. They're going to have to pay out. There'll be a lot of legal things going back and forth, and the game is going to suffer because of it.
All of your sewage systems have stopped working. Everything's going to quite literally. And so the player is tasked with their group, most likely,
poop technology 2.0.
Take out the outlaws and get the facility working again.
You'll enter a mini game to use a plunger.
This is literally a mission to fix the toilets of Levski.
It's not just the toilets. You're also trying to turn on the air. Air is a bit more important. It still works in Levski, but you know they have like maybe polluted air.
This is so dumb. This is so dumb.
It's not just for the toilet.
Poop mission.
It's also a little bit more exciting than just going into like some vents. It's like a free layered system where there's.
I want a mini game where you're using the plunger.
This will be mission driven and repeatable.
Oh no, we got to use beam technology to fix toilets.
To investigation, a variety of roles. Narratively, it's a real sandbox. Every progression you do will unlock a new area that will link back to previous areas, complexifying the play space.
We've been wanting to have more gameplay around landing zones for a long time. Now that we have instancing tech coming online, that allows us to do something.
They were supposed to make habs too in Area 18, like,
close to a landing
and then they were
zone.
also supposed to make missions in some of the towers where you start on one level and fight your way up to the top, and then fight your way back down to escape.
Which will enable us to create tailored content.
That wasn't shown at a sitcom though. That was shown at a. I want to say it was a StarCitizenlove, and they were talking about it there, and that sounded really cool. Maybe it was at a sitcom. I don't remember, but it was
return back
shown
to different states.
It was shown,
depending on how much
it's never happened. And they said that was going to be instanced.
You've reached sort of the end.
And then there was going to be basements and walk-around areas underneath the city that were going to be instanced for missions as well.
Your team, your party.
And that's when I first started saying that the instance is going to be bad for this game. And I still agree with that. I still agree with myself saying that instancing is bad. I hold true to that.
Ability to jump through them faster and faster times as well.
So that's a look at how we'll be allowing players and developers alike to create more crafted experiences within the greater sandbox.
I'm so excited to play poop missions.
Okay, is that it for me at this point, Jared?
Almost. Throw it back to me, and I've got one more for you after this.
Back to you, Jared.
Yes, thank you for the shit. Thank you for the shit mission.
Everybody's really excited about the year ahead. So that's a brief look at some of the ways in which we're allowing you and our developers to craft a more curated Star Citizen experience. Now, at this point in the show, we are in the home stretch. We've got only one more segment to go. But before we do that, we wanted to check out, we said earlier in the show that we would look at what you were saying during the show. We looked at how to put YouTube comments on the stream, and it was immediately apparent that we were going to lose our broadcast license, so we're not going to do that. We did find some social media stuff on Twitch, though, or not Twitter, X. What is it called now? Let's see what this says. Let's see. We've got Welcome Back Levski from, I'm not wearing my glasses. Should have worn my glasses. Let's see. Back to the head. Hey, Bar Citizen show with today.
Sorry,
I do want to talk a little bit about
Chris is on his job.
Every year, CitizenCon, the support happens in our developer social park, and on my thought department put together, we're going to spend 2 performed in there.
Here we go.
Just the one. Nope, my first one.
1 last year.
2.
A few.
8 or 9?
Maybe 9 or 10?
Never.
Man, I don't know, man.
Did you like doing it?
Yes, I was completely terrified.
It was good, a bit stressful.
The first live one was a mess.
Weird combination of going from insane highs to insane lows.
Live ones.
Because?
It's over.
The live ones are pretty special.
Pre-samp's always fun, but the live events are special, aren't they?
Remember we were at that weird crack house in Ancoats?
Right.
I like the live ones. Oh, I mean, I love these digital ones. These are the best.
Every time I've done it, it has been a digital one, and I'd like to do one on stage.
Is it because you have a restraining order against you, or?
Didn't know if I was going to be sick.
I mean, I like Elliot. I don't like a lot of the stuff that he does in the game, but I like Elliot. At least he's passionate about what he does, and he doesn't really sugarcoat it either when he's talking about it. He is honest and straight up right from the top. Hey, it's going to be this way.
I am a very shy individual, so this is me just trying to get out of my shell.
Getting the crowd to react to the ideas that we've been working on for so long.
We can react. Watch. Everybody. Yay!
I can feel your passion from here.
Cut the camera. Counting you down in like 30 seconds. I'm like,
okay, I'm done. Next section.
I think you mean least favorite, and because it has the word moist in it, I mean, come on.
We'll give you a new nickname by the end of this.
Sounds good. Could do with one.
Let's get started. Like, why are we showing that? I take the time to pre-recorded. In this
Is there anything left?
I want to say thank you for participating in these things. So, let's see. How do I want to do this? At this point, we've only got one major story left to tell.
One more
but
major
before we do
sale?
that, it wouldn't be. We wanted to do one more check-in.
One more sale
on something we started last year. Last year,
one more sale. Yeah,
Rich
just one more
took
sale.
the stage and presented his roadmap to 1.0, and we didn't want to go an entire year without talking to the senior game director himself to get his update on that 1 year later. So we're going to throw it to him, and we're going to go to our last segment, and when we come back, we'll say our goodbyes. And
I'm not
if you're at
saying
a watch
for the
party,
goodbyes.
it's time to get. I was going to say, that's not a word I can say on the camera. Let's just go. Let's just throw it back to me. Go to me from 1 week ago.
Oh my God. This I can already tell that this is going to be terrible.
Last year, Senior Game Director Rich Tyrer took to the stage and revealed our plan for 1.0.
Bring back Todd Pappy.
Now, before we end this year's CitizenCon we wanted to take a few moments and follow up on that reveal from last year to do as we've done today.
Nothing has made it
look
in
at the
so
year
far.
ahead. So, Rich, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it.
All right.
Everybody knows
Tell me
the only
more
constant
sweet
in
little
game
eyes,
development is
Rich.
change. So I'm going to ask you outright, what's changed about the road to 1.0?
Well,
we got nothing in.
Fortunately, nothing. It still remains our North Star. The team is busy working towards that goal in the background, and every patch this year has moved us towards that goal. And if you haven't watched the Star Citizen 1.0 presentation from last year, I highly recommend you do so, because everything in it is still relevant as of today.
You mentioned every patch this year has moved us towards that goal, so I want to dig deeper into that. We've done, at this point, 9 releases in this year, more than any
Next
year
patch,
prior.
fire extinguishers.
How does each one of these not just sit as their own moment in time, but move us forward on this road to 1.0?
Well, last year I discussed the framework of 1.0, how all those complex systems can tie together. And one of the core aspects of that was the main
that's what
story,
we've been
which
asking
became
for a
the
very
spine of
long
the
time.
universe, which brought all of these
aspects in the game to tie together.
Givers, guilds, and all the different areas of the game to the players. Now, what I didn't talk about from last year was all of the content that was going to support that framework, add the flesh to the bones, should we say. And I think that's where this year has moved us towards that goal. If you think about previous events of previous years, they've generally been
feel that way.
Put into the verse, but they've been transient. We've taken them away, like Siege of Orison or Xenothreat. We've added them to game, and then they've been moved away. And I think with the addition of the patches this year, when you look at
Siege of Orison
facilities, Onyx facility,
in
these
a while.
Are permanent additions to the world.
Jumptown, it's been a long time since we've had Jumptown.
As when we release them with the patches, but they'll also become points of interest and areas that the larger 1.0 narrative will utilize.
Since we're on story, I'm going to stay with this here. Since we launched the PU back in 2015, it's always been this sandbox where players can do what they want. They can bring their own story to the verse, and that'll never change. But how important is it that we also build this concurrent narrative of our own, this crafted experience, if you will, alongside that?
Well, we're trying to create a living, breathing universe. And that includes both the player stories that you mentioned, that they can go and enjoy and create their own memories together. Consent. But it also means that we want to have a universe that gives back. We want
I liked Xenothreat when it worked.
Locations to feel like they're believable and real life locations.
I also liked going to Xenothreat and shooting people down.
This year and the patches that we've worked towards, we've had an overarching story that's moved from patch to patch, and we're going through some of those cycles right now.
I like playing both sides of Xeno.
We've also been introducing mission content that has fully voiced dialogue and facial animation, which allows us to inject some of the meaning and the why to what you are doing as a player. And I think
so far you're skirting around
Star Citizen as a
how we're getting closer on 1.0.
Ties all of these different complex systems together.
You're using a lot of it's connective tissue. It's the flesh to the bone.
To see this big turn this year to start injecting story into the verse, I think people are really responding to it. So everybody knows, and you mentioned just now that this year we changed a whole lot about how we operated and how we release things. How do you think that's gone?
I think it's gone very well. I think if the mantra that I've always been pushing this year at the beginning of January was patch always goes. And I think this year has seen a different
marketing is telling you that patch has to go so that you can do more sales.
Moving the game forward. That's where this different strategy has allowed us to really take a wider approach. And we also have to remember that
I really do think they're going to be struggling for some money.
And while we have lofty future goals,
or have been this year,
we still have to make decisions right now that make the game fun for the people that are playing it all the time, playing it as their daily game. If you look at previous years, we've had to hold a patch back, we've had to make concessions, mainly due to around a feature may not have been ready or right to go into there.
There were 3 months, 4 months, sometimes 5 months between patches.
Exactly, and I don't think that's good for anybody. I don't think it's good for the players. I don't think it's good for the development team. I think it's better to have regular cadence of drops. One good example is this year for A Line of Mine. People probably don't know, but A Line of Mine, when you turned on the laser, it was actually supposed to reveal the sandworm Valakar. And I played it, and it didn't hit the quality that I wanted to go into the game.
Make sure the features work before you add them. It's okay if patches take a long time to get out.
I made that decision alongside Chris and Erin, and we've held that back, and we're going to work on that towards a future patch. But I think definitely the more regular cadences has had the multiple benefits, and like I said, I want to dispel a myth right here, right now. Like, features are still being worked on quite heavily in the background, from radar and scanning in FPS, the new quant.
Hey, remember when I said radar and scanning wasn't around and that guy called me a liar? It was in the game. They just said they're still working on radar and scanning. It's not a feature that is complete.
To inventory, engineering, and crafting, and all of those features are going to be coming very, very soon for players to get their hands on. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to sit here and say that if I was to go back to the start of the year, I would hope that we would have released more features. But I also think every decision we've made this year has been through the lens of making the live experience as stable and as good as possible.
Absolutely.
It doesn't seem very stable. I've watched a lot of people play. It does not seem very stable.
I've said this before. I've said it internally. I've said it out there. I'm going to say it right now again on camera.
We just don't 30K. That's the only difference.
Star Citizen ever, and I'm willing to look right into the camera and say that. The player numbers are up, engagement numbers are up, the length of the play sessions are up, bug numbers are down, 30K is gone. It's been a solid year.
I also want to murder them and drink their blood so I live forever.
I'm talking about the future, so I want to move us to the future. We've talked about story. We've talked about this more diegetic, immersive.
But I would like to make it to when we are actually in space flying around.
Where do we go from here? Obviously, that continues. But what more?
I'm not going to make it that long.
Are we going to do to make this universe
another 30 years,
alive and real and
40 years maybe?
I think the biggest thing is to start having that conversation be two-way. So if you think about this year, like you mentioned, we've been having fully voiced NPCs, but a lot of those missions and those NPCs, they're talking to you, they're talking at you. Right. You don't get to talk back to them. Now, obviously, you get to interact with them through your actions, you get to go and do their mission, and you get to move that along, and then they talk to you again. But it's a one-way conversation.
We're missing that conversation wheel.
Exactly. The next part would be
we don't need a conversation wheel.
That's something
just
that
do
we're going to be working
drop-down
very
text.
Soon, with Battaglia being the first one.
It doesn't have to be a wheel. Why does everything a wheel in this game?
Just to be clear, we'll be bringing all the mission givers eventually back, and we want them to be an integral part of the verse and the story that players go and enjoy. We want the locations to be brought to life, and as we mentioned last year, we want to have interactive scenes that you can go and be part of. And obviously the full end goal is towards,
oh my God,
you know, to have cinematic stories in the game, and that is what we're going to be pushing towards. Everything we do, every decision we make is through the lens
is usually the wrong one.
Closer to 1.0. It might sometimes be difficult to see why those decisions have been made at the time they've been made, but rest assured that Star Citizen 1.0 is still our North Star. That's what we're still aiming towards, and that's what we're going to be moving forward with every patch next year as well.
And remember,
you're probably right, Jim. You're probably right.
When mission givers were first introduced, they sometimes became a bottleneck. Is there a role in instancing, which we learned about earlier today? Is there a role for instancing in that, in helping with mission givers?
Yes, partially. It will be one mechanism that will allow us to have players go to their own individual area of the verse, have that conversation, and then go and continue on into the open world environment. So I think that's where
I'm sorry, but the instancing sounds awful.
Provides us one tool that allows us to remove that bottleneck and provide a more seamless experience.
Happy you said that, because that's one of our last topics I want to get to, is how we reconcile instancing with the persistent universe. Like, for the last 10 years now, we've been building this giant, seamless, persistent universe where everybody can come in and play together. And it would be easy to have a first instinct reaction to the idea of instancing and say that's antithetical to everything that Star Citizen. But
that's
you
true,
mentioned
Brian.
last year these 3 pillars of building Star Citizen in the PU, and I want to, you said nothing changed, but I want to ask you about this specifically. What are those 3 pillars again, and how does instancing fit within the greater design
this
of
ought to be
Star
good.
Citizen?
So the 3 pillars I mentioned last year were open world. That's just like the missions you love today. You can go and play, there's other players there, and you can go and enjoy that together. Then we have instancing, which I'll talk about more, but similar to municipal works that we've talked about previously. And then the 3rd pillar was dynamic content, which would be content that's generated by the activities of the players. And I think it's very easy to become myopic around one specific thing when we're talking about it a lot, when it's the next stage of our development. And I think you could reverse it. If we'd have made a game that was all instance, and then I'd come on camera and said, hey guys, we're going to start doing it open world, it would be like, oh, is the game changing?
Yeah,
are we doing open world now? Is open world the new North Star that's going to take us this way?
You have to also take into account some of the original backing stuff and promises and things that were said over the years, and instancing was never one of those.
Now, when I talk about instancing
in my opinion, I feel like the instancing is them to bail themselves out of other shit is not working.
We're going to have several different versions of instances. Some are going to be closed instances, which will be like the new player experience. Will be able for you to go in by yourself.
I'm fine with that. The new player experience should be instant.
In a safe environment.
With this other stuff, I feel like this is a bad idea.
The complex game that we've made. But we'll also have open instances like a cantina or a bar where we might say, hey, we only want 50 people to come in here because we've got mission givers and we've got other NPCs
so in old
to
speak,
talk to.
instances
and you would
are
just walk in and it would be seamless. You wouldn't know that
server
there was
meshing.
an instance. It's not going to get a loading screen.
So you created all of this to create instancing to then mesh those servers across from open to instanced areas.
And that's,
cool.
I think, something that instancing is going to provide us. It's going to give us a tool to offer different.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Curated content.
I'm not technically. I'm not technically invested in this
that we've already made.
This stuff, so I
and
don't
it's
know
not to say that we won't continue.
If that's 100% what they're saying, but it sounds like it.
Only do instance content. It's going to be a mix, and like I said, this is one of the pillars that will move us towards 1.0. We will eventually work on dynamic content that will move us towards 1.0, and all three of those pillars will interweave to create the full Star Citizen experience.
All right, so we've hit a lot of the bigger topics, the feature work, engineering, and FPS crafting coming to tech preview soon, stuff like this. We've talked about instancing and how that's going to work within the universe. But I want to ask you this one last big one. It's very easy to say Star Citizen is this kind of game and that kind of game. Those of us who spend our days making it know better. It's an everything game. It's everything we can make it game. It just is. But at the core of this is still spaceships. That life of spaceships. What more can you tell us about spaceship gameplay in the future? What can you give us? What can you tee up for us to look forward to for those of us who are really into Star Citizen for the spaceships?
Our intentions going forward are to make sure that every ship or ship archetype that you acquire has a role and has content that you can go and enjoy in the universe. For example, right now I know that we're working on more robust mining missions, more robust salvage missions. We're going to be working on refueling missions. And we want to make sure
everything
that
has to be a mission.
Each and every one of the ship has a purpose and has a reason to exist.
It doesn't have to always have a mission.
The smallest Argo MPUV, as well as ground vehicles, all the way up to the large capital ships. We want to give them
Not
purpose.
everything has to have a mission.
It's something that we are absolutely aware of. We want to make sure that we're building that spectrum of content to allow players to go and engage in. And I think 2026 is going to be a very good year for Star Citizen. And I think there's going to be something that's very interesting and something that a lot of people have been waiting for. But rather than me spoil it, I'll let Ian and the team go into the details on that.
Get a twinkle in his eye. Ian, take it away.
No. This is going to be more regurgitated bullshit, more regurgitated corpo speak.
So the persistent universe has existed for over 10 years now. During that time, we've created lots of gameplay systems, we've added hundreds of locations, we've added lots of mission activities for different purposes. Combat, cargo,
but they're
mining,
all the same.
salvaging. But for combat ships, the only thing you've been able to do is fight other combat ships. In 2026,
no, you could pirate people.
We're going to be delivering a spaceship-focused activity space which incentivizes the use of different gameplay roles. These are going to be scenarios where you're going to have to plan and strategize and create operational tactics to overcome your objective. So what you're going to see is very early. It's early in the...
So like what we were doing 2 years ago when you guys put the sex eggs and maze and slam on the higher tier bounty missions, and me and Pagan and Moon and Jim and Canop and Marcus would go out there. Some of us would be in combat ships, some of them would be in cargo ships, and some of them would be in salvage ships, and we would use all facets of the game to interact with that thing that you guys created and then took away because it wasn't supposed to be in the game. The thing like that we did, that we came up on our own and decided, hey, this would be a good idea to involve all three facets of the game of combat, cargo running, and salvage. Kind of like when we did that. No, instead you have to create a mission. Now you see what I've been asking for a long time. Just give us the tools and we'll do our own thing, and we'll have a lot of fun doing that. But every time you guys do that and you allow us to create our own fun, you take it away. And it's got to be a more curated in-game mission and not something that us players can do and just go, hey, if we did this plus this plus this, it equals this, and we can have a lot of fun doing it. No, you take it away every single time. Every single time you take it away. When we discover our own fun, you take it away, and then you try to curate a mission around it, and then it turns into being shit every single time. And it's kind of getting sickening at this point. We used to have pirating. Now pirating, for the most part, is dead, unless you want to hit salvage ships and only salvage ships. That is it. You can't take anybody. You can't take anything off of anybody. Dying has no consequence. Ships exploding have very little consequence. Like there's no consequence. There's no fun. It's all the same shit day in, day out. Grind missions, whether it's cargo, bounty hunting, bunker, it doesn't matter, to buy more spaceships. Oh, you want to do, oh, no, I don't want to do the combat stuff. I want to be a Bob. I want to do the Bob stuff. Okay. Cargo running, mining, salvage. None of it's interconnected. None of it talks to each other. There's no rep between anything. And you do the same thing. You mine, salvage, or cargo run to buy a better ship to mine, salvage, and cargo run. And then when you buy the best ship that there is, you mine all this money up, or you salvage a bunch of money up, or you cargo run a bunch of money up, and then you go, I'm done playing for the next few months until there's a wipe because I have everything I need and there's nothing else to do. I don't want to do combat. Fine. The combat guys that don't want to do Bob stuff, they're stuck in the same boat. They bunker run, they do bounty missions, they do all those things to buy more ships, and then when they get the ultimate ship to do the highest tier stuff, they then go, I'm bored, I don't want to do anything, because there is no intermingling of rep, there's no intermingling of the various process or the various gameplay loops in Star Citizen. There's no finite resources, there's no nothing, so it's the same shit year in, year out, patch in, patch out. People come in, they lose all their shit, they grind it back, and then after a couple of months, they go, ain't shit to do, I quit. And they don't come back.
Pipeline process, and it's going to come online about
exactly,
next
Jim.
year.
Exactly.
But we're really excited about the content we're creating, so we want to share with you a super early look at what we're building.
Is this going to be this
in
distribution
space
raids?
We're calling tactical strike groups.
So it's answer the call in space. Is that what you're telling me?
The People's Alliance are still trying to get to the bottom of what this new faction is really doing in the Nukes system.
They've sent a capital ship to check out a station and run into more than they can take care of themselves.
Unfortunately, that team came under attack and members of their groups were taken hostage. Now they've reached out to Intersec, who've reached out to you to help recover the pilot. Of course, it's unwise to do this alone, so you'll need to put a team together to attack the station.
It would be really nice if we had guild social tools for this.
Asteroid, kind of broken asteroid, and on this you will have this space where you will find 3 big arms.
This is so stupid.
You will see at the middle, you will have this big energy core. Everything here.
And you gotta shoot it with your Icarus, and then you can board.
Show, just something nice.
And then you have to fight your way out, because then ships are gonna come in.
People's Alliance owned interests.
There'll be 5 waves
on the outside, and it's going to be getting harassed by this unknown faction that you have met before.
So your first objective here is to clear out the ships. There'll be waves of these ships, so this is what
Of course, I just told you there would be waves of these
heavy
ships.
fighters, whichever playstyle you prefer.
So while one part of your group is dealing with the fighters, now it's time to actually assault the station.
This station has been outfitted to resist all of the obvious way of attacks.
Somehow they've incorporated Vanduul capital ship killing turrets.
Of course they have.
These turrets ignore small fighters, and they have the firepower to destroy even the biggest capital ships.
Polaris and your Idris, if you get it close, it will get shredded. The idea of these is so we can sort of make it so we can mix up that ship combat, and not everyone can just bring the biggest ship and win just because
this is going to fall apart fast. I'm sorry, it just is. It's going to fall apart fast. People will do it for a couple of weeks and then it'll be over. Nobody will do it anymore. Nobody will want to do it anymore because you're going to have the same bullshit rewards as they do in everything else.
The superstructure and take down anything that may damage your bigger ships. So at this point you're thinking, destroy the turrets. But it's not that easy. This turret has shields that you've never seen before. It won't take...
It has shields that you've never seen before, so it's like the PDCs mounted in the Idris and the 890 Jump and all the other ships that you can't actually... You can target them, but you can't actually hit them. Even if you fly within 2 meters and shoot them, you still can't hit them. That kind of shielding technology.
Any kind of damage. Your missiles won't do anything, your lasers won't do anything, your ballistics won't do anything to them. But like everything, they do have a weakness. You have to cut the power to their shields. To do that, that actually brings you to your first objective, the power relays.
So the exterior has a number of power relays that are holding the doors closed so that you can't get in.
You have to find them, you have to target them, and you have to destroy them. But it may not be as easy as it seems.
Here's our first wrinkle. The power relays have their own shields that are resistant to energy-based attacks.
We know how much you like using laser repeaters, but so do these guys.
Capital ship can't get close enough because of the turrets.
So ships with explosive or ballistic ordnance will be needed here. That's torpedo ships like your Retaliator or Gladiator, or even another fighter with ballistics loadout. That's going to take you a while.
Once the power relays have been taken down, the station opens up.
Your mission is to hit a small thermal exhaust port 3 meters wide.
And this is where things get really cool.
Now it's time for you to fly your ship inside the station.
Yeah, you, in your ship, fly into the superstructure of this station.
Oh, Return of the Jedi munch?
I feel like this is
Second Death Star.
Thank you, Jared.
We're just going to call it what it is. It's a trench run.
Trench run.
So as
this
you enter the structure, you'll see cooling units along the sides that you'll need to take out.
Return of the Jedi. This is Star Wars Return of the Jedi.
There's 3 arms to the station.
Oh my God.
You'll fly into one, and then there'll be a core in the center, and then you'll
you blow up the thing that looks exactly like...
You're either going to do it multiple times, or you need to...
Shut up. Because I'm going to get claimed if I have the music on and everything else. Gee, doesn't that look familiar? Doesn't that look familiar? Oh my God, we gotta do the same thing. We gotta do the same thing, guys. We gotta do it all. And then, look, they're even gonna do the exact same part here. You gotta shoot the 2 arms. They're gonna do it in this. You gotta shoot the 2 arms, and then make a left-hand turn. And then make a left-hand turn. It's another left turn. Durr. Oh my fuck. Really, guys? I guess if you can't figure out anything else to do, you go full J.J. Abrams. You just need lens flare now.
To bring friends.
Shoot the thing. Left-hand turn.
So these
Left-hand
are
turn.
essentially strafing runs.
strafing runs in an internal.
There are
oh my
objects
god!
to avoid. You're going to have to be able to dodge. You're going to have to move quickly. You need an agile ship.
Because the shield generator that you're targeting is emitting lots of distortion damage.
So once the cooling units are out, that exposes the core to overheat, which means that you can attack it from the inside and also from exhaust ports on the outside of the station. This core is
small thermal exhaust port.
A whole lot of damage.
3 meters wide. That's impossible, even for a targeting computer. No. I used to bullseye womp rats.
Once the power core goes down, the turrets come down, and then the
they're no bigger than 3 meters wide.
Why is that important? Because during all of this, you spend a lot of ammo and munitions and ballistics, and you're going to want to top up.
This is where we're going to get our new feature in: ship hangar refueling and rearming. You're going to be able to land in the hangar.
But do you have to stock it? Do you have to beam boxes aboard and put them in these little cubby holes so that way you can rearm and repair these ships? Do we?
Select ships and be able to use the same interface as you are right now.
You're right. Ships do not fly like that.
To refuel and rearm.
It's specifically for ships like the Idris and the Polaris and other ships that are designed to have other ships land inside them.
Of course, it'll be more than just those two ships, and you'll find out more once we get closer to release. But this is a really important feature that we're really excited to get out.
If you're not bringing your own Idris, the People's Alliance has an Idris there that can provide a safe port in a storm, allow you to set back up and head back out.
And it's a good thing that you've rearmed and refueled too, because now another group of ships is coming to attack the People's Alliance Idris.
But you can't shoot off PDCs, so what are you going to do?
So while the fighters are protecting
Unless this has changed in the last few months, Camerl has shown that you physically cannot shoot off PDCs, so how are you going to take on that Idris?
You've got to land, you've got to fight through an onslaught of...
And the only way to take out another Idris or another Polaris is to literally ram them and fire the missiles at point-blank range, which I've heard doesn't work anymore.
FPS enemies that belong to this unknown faction, and you've got to open a hangar door which will allow you to release captives from the station. After you've opened the doors and that person's taken off, you've just got to make sure they get to safety.
Got to get a Paladin. The Paladin is going to be the one that can do this. So all the other ships won't be able to. Got to get a Paladin.
But there's an additional complication.
Of course there is.
So up until this point, it's just been you versus the enemies in the station. But the enemies in the station have their own enemies.
The Vanduul neighbors who really don't like these guys for some reason will come in and wreak havoc on everything.
And they're not going to discriminate between you and the station. They're out for blood.
Guys, Squadron 42 is out.
Alert the Vanduul by destroying
Squadron
the power
42
core.
is out.
The station's now
That's what they're going to tell us.
You're on a time limit. Vanduul are coming. They're going to come hard. They're going to keep coming. You're going to have one hell of a fight.
Henry Cavill's got a shave, man. No, the SC ships do not move like this. Oh no, Vanduul Idris. Don't worry, guys. The Vanduul Idris will be on sale very soon.
Tactical strike.
Probably about a year. Probably about 3 weeks before this goes live.
So throughout 2025, we created a variety of content. Some of it was very focused on FPS combat. So personally, driving a more vehicle-based experience was very important to me. This is a defining statement that I want to do in 2026. We're a spaceship game. There are prized possessions. They're the objects we fall in love with.
They're the things that we sold you for the most for the last 10 years.
Create scenarios and roles for you to use those spaceships.
Remember the star or the freelancer? Its engines don't rotate like they show in the original sale concept video.
Where we can see a gameplay space which incentivizes
the Aurora's
the
little
use of
wing
different
things
ships
don't open up
and
like they were
scenarios
supposed to.
clear objectives and complete missions in a variety of roles. And in the future, we can use this to experiment.
People are going to complain that this is too hard and they'll nerf it.
Just as excited as I am for tactical strike groups. They're going to be fantastic.
Where's the Endeavor? Where's the Orion? Where's the Nautilus? There's the Crucible and the Vulcan and the Starlancer rework. Or not the Starlancer, Starfarer rework. Where's the 600i rework? I'm not stopping until I see Chris.
John, road for the last 10 years the PU's been around. We've done lots to build. First, spaceship dungeons. Share this with the Twitch. As with, take it away.
What the team is cooking. I hope you enjoyed this glimpse into some of what the team is cooking for the near future. Of course, we're not going to spoil everything that's currently in progress, and many features we haven't discussed today are in active development, like base building, social, and trade tools that are very much a priority. These, along with bringing the final polished features
those should have been in like 6 months ago, bro.
Universe, will make next year
the social
the
tools,
most exciting yet for Star Citizen. Finally,
most exciting yet, kind of like last year and the year before and the year before,
for working so tirelessly and with so much passion to deliver something that is already special and will only get more so as we continue. And of course, to all of you for making all this possible with your support and feedback. We couldn't do this without all of you, something that I and the team appreciate every day. We are very lucky to be allowed the time and the money to build a game of all of our dreams, something that is only more apparent as the video game business becomes more monolithic. We are one of the few large independents left standing, and there is no way we would be allowed to dream as big as we are an original game and take the time to achieve that dream if we were part or funded by any of the few remaining mega game companies. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all in the verse this coming year.
Sorry, bro. I'm not coming back until there's a 1.0. All right, that's it. I gotta say that was a very disappointing CitizenCon. I think a lot of it was just BS. You know, the Genesis thing, they've shown 2 years in a row now. I mean, I get it. It looks pretty. It's cool, but there's no magic to it. It's prettiness to be pretty, and there's nothing there. Now, they didn't say anything about Squadron 42. They didn't say anything about Squadron 42. Instancing sounds dumb. The new guns look dumb, to say the least. I can't believe somebody spent that much time on the new guns. Especially the laser ballistic one. That one is that's like, it's like something my little girls would come up with and be like, yeah, this is the coolest thing ever. There's a reason usually they separate ballistics from laser weapons, and usually has to do with like heat and detonations and things like that. But hey, what do I know about that sort of stuff? What else was in there? The FPS thing looks, the FPS crafting looks terrible. Having to beam boxes of iron into a machine before you can use it, that looks terrible. You should be using your on-person inventory or your base inventory or your hangar inventory for that, and not having to beam more boxes around. That's just terrible. It's a bad idea. It's terrible, and people aren't going to want to interact with it like that. The fact that you can put it on your ship tractor, beam it on your ship, and move it around, that is pretty cool. So I'll give them that. The new mission that they came up with and showed at the very end of the sitcon, it looks cool in certain elements, but as we brought up multiple times, it's a straight Return of the Jedi ripoff. And ships, like they showed in the commercial, don't move like that. They really don't move like that. What else was in there? I don't know. There wasn't really that much to speak of. Oh, Nix for the first 15 minutes, but we knew Nix was coming. Supposedly it's coming next month, but they reiterated multiple times that it's not going to be done when it gets released. And I don't think that's a very good idea. I think you should be releasing stuff closer to completion, and instead of being like, well, it's going to be basically empty except for a couple of things, and we're going to be adding into that as we go. There's a lot of things in Pyro and Staten that have never been finished and never been added to. So maybe get things to a more finished spot before you start, adding other things. I'm not saying don't add nicks. I'm just saying maybe get it to a bit more finished, a bit more finished status before you just drop it in. One of the few large indies left standing, which wouldn't be possible if part of or funded by one of the remaining mega studios. I get what you're saying, dude. I am not very happy with the state of Star Citizen right now. I'm not happy with the fact that they've spent most of this year adding Disneyland theme park rides where you have to go to certain areas and do rituals to summon the Valacar and the not snake Valacar, not Valacar snake. Yeah, I said that wrong. The not Valacar snake, the Onyx spots, all of this. It's all Disneyland theme park stuff, and they haven't polished. They haven't made playability a big concern. No, I have not played in 6 months. I watch other people play, Pagan and Meek Dill and a few others, and the game is not polished. It still runs like the same dog shit as I played 6 months ago. We just don't get 30Ks. That's it. We still have a lot of the same bugs we've had for years and years and years in there, and they have not been squashed or dealt with in a reasonable way. But hey, it is what it is, I guess, guys. I need to go get something to eat, and I need more coffee. It was fun doing this. I'm really disappointed in what they've done and how they're doing it, and I'm really disappointed in this year's Star Citizen. TN, you made it fun, even though you're an asshole, and you call me a liar all the time. Fuck off. Eat dicks, and maybe next time come in here and be a little bit more respectful of people. You could have asked me a lot of questions instead of just immediately going to "you're a liar." But yeah, fuck off. See you later, guys. I'll try to get back to streaming as soon as things calm down real life wise, and I'll see you guys around. And no, I did not buy Star Citizen. I'm not coming back to Star Citizen. I just thought it would be fun to cover this for a little while. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for any subs that I may not have caught or seen. Thanks for letting me be a part of your life for, I think it's been 3 hours now, so maybe 4. So thank you guys. Appreciate you all. Thanks for coming by. Later.